This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. Welcome, everybody, to the XC Podcast, episode 268. And it's good to see you guys. Thank you, everybody who's enjoying their summer. Over there in Australia, I hope you're enjoying your winter. I think that's what they do, right, Mike?
Yeah, apparently their version of winter. Yeah. It's like, it's only 75 degrees. It's like, nice winter you're having. You know, break out those skis.
Yeah, good old hit the slopes there. Risk it for the biscuit and Special Nick. Yeah, what a crazy time. We're so glad to have you here. Mag and I've got a ton of news to cover. We'll kind of give you a brief overview. We're going to be talking about Xbox's stance on exclusives like we have been doing for the past 2.5 years. We're going to talk about Matt Booty, Matthew Ball, Asha Sharma, and all of the mixed messaging and some stuff about Game Pass and its situation and the Bethesda stuff. It's been a bombastic week. But before we get into that, I wanted to tell a quick story to Mag and to you. I've been doing Gaming Weekly News, which is a weekly video I do where I find the best and the biggest news pieces of the week, and then I cover them mostly from the perspective of Xbox fans, but just covering gaming news. And there wasn't much on Thursday, in fact, the whole week, Mag. I think I did that Grand Theft Auto video, and I was like, I need to make a video on Tuesday, and I had nothing. On Wednesday, I'm like, I got nothing. I don't want to make anything. I don't know what I want to do. So Thursday night, I buckled down, and I made my video about Obsidian Entertainment and the possibility of them making a Fallout game. And it was the rumor. Like, it had not been really confirmed until Jason Schreier started to say it. And so I dug into Creation Engine, which we'll talk about tonight. And I made that video, and then I talked about Rise, Son of Rome and a little bit about Halo coming up. And then I get up in the morning, and my videos go live at 7 a.m. Pacific. 10 a.m. Eastern. And I'm sleeping. It's my day off. It's Friday. And my friend texted me, Game Seeker, and he's like, look at this, Colt. Like, Bethesda just laid out everything they're working on, which made my video completely null and void. Like, of course, the Fallout Obsidian stuff is good. Like, that's good information. But the... everything else, like this is the big news. It's not in my video. And so I'm kind of stewing. If any of you guys are a content creator or an artist or recording or whatever, where you put stuff in front of people, you can bite your fingernails. And I know you know it, Mag. And the whole morning, I'm like, I'll just wait. I'll give it 3 hours. I'll see how it's doing. And there's not much I could do because my video's sort of outdated and I can't get up and make another one. There's a whole other thing. So my mom's in town. She's at my brother's right now. She's coming over soon. But I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be spending time with my family. I can't make a follow-up video. And so I wait 3 hours. Here's the best part of the story for me. Was I go to check my video on my phone, and it wasn't there.
Yeah. Oh.
My video wasn't even there. And I realized I had scheduled a tweet for it. Because like at 11 o'clock at night, I schedule the tweet. I go to bed, and I didn't even go into YouTube and schedule the YouTube video. So my video sat there and got like 140 views off of just Twitter alone. Like I put out the scheduled tweet went out, and just a handful of people watched the video, and it wasn't public. So not only was my video outdated, but now it's 3 hours delayed beyond the big news cycle. And
yeah.
That just started off my weekend. So I kind of said,
like,
all right.
Is Colt living in the past? Did he go back? He has to go back to the future, Marty. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's even comments from channel members.
Gigawatts?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Really?
Yeah. Save the clock tower.
Yeah.
And there's even comments on the video from like 18 hours ago, for people that when it went public, you'll see channel members saying, oh, Todd Howard this or whatever. And that was, I've only done that twice. I don't know. I don't know if that matters to anyone, but that like completely would have wrecked my weekend, but I had a great weekend spending with my brother and my mom and stuff. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah, and then and on top of it, we were supposed to get, well, not supposed to, but I mean, the rumor was that we were going to get some news about that disc to digital thing, and that never came out. So I was kind of sitting on that news, and I'm just like, well, let's see what's going on here and see what they actually say, because I mean, everybody hears rumblings, whatnot, and then nothing, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, there goes another week, and like I'll just went totally like silent. And then the whole Bethesda thing came out where they were talking about a roadmap of what they were going to do and all that, and I'm like, all right, cool, so where's the disc to digital thing? And then nothing, and it was just like, oh, okay, never mind. But but I mean, there's other things that happened and whatever, and I mean, we had some great games to play and all that jazz, so there was all kinds of good stuff. But still, yeah, it would have been all right. But I mean, that's, I'm starting to learn now that after just over a year now, a year and a bit of content creation, you learn that sometimes when you're like, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then all of a sudden all those plans fall through because it just doesn't work out that way. You know what I mean? It just all of a sudden news you're expecting doesn't hit when you're expecting, or it doesn't come out the way you're expecting, and whatever. And that's all part of the game, man. So you got to, just kind of take it on the fly and just do what you got to do.
Take it on the chin.
Live streaming is different. Yeah, you got to take it, and then once in a while, and but whatever. But like live streaming, I actually find live streaming, funny enough, a lot of people would find what we're doing more difficult than making a video, and I'm like, actually, live streaming is way easier. Because
why do you think there's so many podcasts?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, let's face it. I mean, there's also a lot of people who sing. It doesn't mean that they're great, but I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like in terms of performance, we're awesome. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? But the thing is, it's like talking with people, even when there's like very little news, or even if there's a lot of news, whatever it is, I find it much easier to engage with people in that way than sit down and like wait for you know what I mean? Like waiting for news for a video or whatever you want to discuss, or even thoughts and opinions. It's tough, man. So like I said, I find this medium way easier.
Yeah. If you write for a website or a games media site, or you write on a blog forum or whatever you do, or you just post on content on like Twitter or whatever, like if you miss the news, or if the news cycle kind of derails your stuff, it's, I don't know, maybe I feel sorry for myself because I spend probably 3 or 4 hours on Gaming Weekly News, and I make that video and then I go to bed and I try to go to sleep and I'm like, blink, 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 thinking, man, I hope my video does okay. I hope people like it. And I had like 2 mistakes in there where I repeated myself that I didn't edit out, but that's funny because my wife was like, do you go back and listen to them? I'm like, no, I've gotten pretty good where I don't really make too many mistakes. And then there was 2 in that one, but 3 or 4 hours on this video.
Feasible 4 times in one sentence. And well, if it's feasible and feasible, and then it's feasible and feasible, and then you listen back for a second, you're going, oh my God, what am I even saying right now? Yeah.
Yeah. There's words where, it would be funny, if I left in some of the flubs in my videos, but I've had that happen before. About a year ago when Power World was kicking off, whatever that was, there was a rumor that Blizzard was making a Power World style survival game, Project Odyssey, and I made this whole video about how Power World's kicking off. You had content about Power World because it was such a big deal, and I was really enjoying the game, so I put in some Power World footage because I'd been playing the game like 30 hours. And then I talked about this upcoming Blizzard game. Like, Xbox has their own Power World. Had this really cool little video. It's really cozy to watch. And I get ready for it to be live, the next day. Because I always finish these videos around dinner time. And they go up, 6, 7 in the morning the next day. And I'm getting up to public the video. And news breaks that Project Odyssey from Blizzard was canceled. This was like 2024, I think, whatever it was. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm about to put that video up. And so I have to take the L and get absolutely no traction, no views. This video doesn't get shared to people, which I still think was great. But the information was like, it would be a laughing stock. So that's how it goes. Yeah, I've only done that one other time, Meg. I used to, I'm very, very chronic when it comes to making my content. I've made over 850 videos on YouTube, and every single one of them, I post it, and I'm like, oh, I hope people like it. I do the same thing.
Yeah. I refuse to look because like my instinct is you make the video, you get it out there, whatever, and you're like, I start pacing around the room, and I'm like doing exactly like what you're saying. I'm like doing this with my fingers. I'm like, oh man, and I grab my phone. I go off to do whatever, and then all of a sudden, like an hour later, I'm like, well, maybe I should take a peek at it, see how it's doing. And then I'm like, no, don't do it. And I put it down. And then I see notifications coming up of people like commenting and stuff because the notifications are on. So it shows
I turned those off like 9 years ago.
Dude, I got to but like, I mean, a lot of the people people that respond to my videos like right away are like,
Yeah.
actually, the maggots and whatever else. So I always respond to them or I put a like or whatever, right? But then, yeah, after a while, it's kind of funny because then you're like sitting at a party somewhere or I'm at a barbecue and then all of a sudden I get a notification. I'm like, oh, what's this? And I even forgot I dropped the video like 14 hours ago. And I pull it down and says, you're a fraud and a grifter. And I'm like, oh, what is it? I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, now you just ruined my burger. And I'm like, okay. And then I just like, you know what I mean? And then you just remember all that kind of stuff. It's kind of funny. But I mean, hey, it's part of the game, man. You want to play the game, it's part of it. And you just got to deal with it. And it's, like I said, you guys are getting a little bird's eye view of what it's like.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
to do this content creation. Although you're not even getting a half about it, not even a quarter, not even an eighth of all the stuff that we go through behind the scenes. And I'm not talking about like making the videos, like everything that comes with it, the good and a lot of the bad. But it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I'm very picky about what content I make. So if you see a video from me, it's because I am super interested in that discussion or that topic or that game or whatever it is. So I don't normally change.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not really interested in, I'm like, I can't talk about this for 8 minutes because I don't care about it for 8 seconds. And I'm like
the biggest thing was the PlayStation disc thing. And I couldn't make more than one video about that, because of the time I pour into it. But when Mag and I are sitting here doing the show with you guys, it really is like, Mag and I are on a video call. We're on Discord, we're on camera, we're talking, and we get to talk about all of the stuff, the news that's been in our brain and stuff that you guys are talking about. And we got the chat over here, over in this area over here where you guys are all hanging out with us. So it's kind of like this little fireside chat where we're all hanging out together, and it means a lot to us. We appreciate you. And doing podcast work can be quite a bit easier, but we wouldn't have that any other way as well, because we would really appreciate you guys for supporting us. We're on year 5. Mag's been here well over 3. I think
That's
Mag
crazy,
came in
man.
around like episode 91 and we're at 263. It's crazy. Yeah.
It's mind blowing, man. It doesn't feel like it at all. I'm like, when you mentioned it to me in LA, and I was just like, he goes, yeah, man, you passed 3 years, whatever. And I'm like, what?
God.
And I'm like, how? I don't recall being here for 3 years. But mind you, that's also part of the curse of getting older. The older you get, time moves a lot quicker, at least, up here, right? So your perception of time is different, and it's wild. But I'm like, man, yeah, 3+ years. It's insane. But hey, man, here we are. We're going to keep going, So it is what it is. But anyway.
So some people in the
what
chat
are you playing, dude?
Yeah, people in the chat are asking about that. I finished Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Black Flag, Black Flag, Black Flag, Black Flag, Black Flag. Sibilance. I'm like, I know that Red Wolf right now is like getting ready to capture us saying it wrong. Yeah, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I wrapped 75 hours. I finished the game, teared up at the end because there's a little cutscene at the end. And it just brought, the cutscene's great. And then it reminded me of 2013. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love video games. And I love the Assassin's Creed series. And then I went in at the open world afterwards and started getting diving bell secrets and a bunch of stuff. But I think I'm done, 75+ hours. It's amazing. I finished Halo, but I have not played, I won't say any.
Sorry, carry on.
I guess I could say that. I haven't done the prequel missions, but I finished the Halo thing. So I'll do a tag-in review or a built-in review with Gaming Weekly News the day after everyone's done theirs. So I played Halo, and then while I was doing all the Obsidian entertainment research, which I did a ton, and that video a lot of people did not see it because the news was the other way. But I was loading up Outer Worlds 2 to get some footage, and all in my segment so I could hear from Mag. I am absolutely, completely rehooked on Outer Worlds 2. I'm doing a full playthrough again.
Oh yeah, I saw
which
that. Yeah.
Some of that got rushed when I did the review. I was like 70 hours or something, but I've spent 12 hours alone in the first area and did all the missions, and I just cannot tell you how much I love that game, and I'm so excited for Obsidian and their Fallout game, which we'll talk about later in the show. Mag, what have you been doing? Because I've been like all over those 3 games.
I mean, come on. I mean, Assassin's Creed Black Flag is it just envelops your life, your heart, your soul. I'm about a third of what you put in terms of time. I'm like 20 something hours in. And the thing is with that game is that I know you said, oh, I rolled credits, whatever else, and cried at the end, especially when Gandalf and Bilbo and and Frodo got on the ship and Edward actually sailed them all to the Undying Lands. I don't know if you guys knew that that's the real ending.
It sounds like it sure does.
Well, it's not really the end, Frodo. Yeah, so they all got in the ship. Edward took them to the Undying Lands with all the elves. And anyways, the thing is with that game is that there's such a sense of wonder and discovery that I just feel is missing from a lot of different games where I look at the map and I'm like, ooh, what's that? And I see like a little palm tree, like, you see like the little palm tree in the middle of like the ocean or whatever else. And as a result of that, I'm like, I need to go there. So you go there, you dock, you do your thing, and then you get out there and I'm trying to get to the next mission. And it takes me 3 days to get to the next mission because I'm stopping at every stop along the way and 100%ing all the islands, all the undiscovered locations. You know what I mean? And and the thing is, and you get there and you're like, oh man, look at this cool looking place. It's called Mystery Island, or there's another island, by the way, there's another island called Florida, which I thought was kind of funny. And I'm like,
yeah, I forgot about that.
Like Florida. I'm like, where's Disney World? But anyways, I was, looking for Universal Studios.
Gamer lives down there.
He lives on that island, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, he's there. But anyways, yeah, you just can't just go from A to B. I can't go from mission to mission. You stop at 800 missions along the way and like 100%ing all these sections. All of a sudden the Spanish show up. I got to blow them to smithereens, and all of a sudden the English show up and they're like, and then you got to blow them into smithereens and steal all their tea and crumpets and whatever. And it's just, you can't stop. So anyways, I've been playing that like crazy. It's so good though. It is so
Some people
good.
are like, I don't like the ship battles. I'm like,
but they're so thrilling. Every time I jump off my ship onto the other ship, I always scream in the studio here. I always scream to the for the Pearl and get on there like I'm Captain Jack Sparrow or Barbossa or whatever, and just having a great time. Also, I was giving the not that there was anything like really significant about it. I did a stream on Friday. I did a stream on Saturday because Friday it was my 15th wedding anniversary, so I couldn't do Friday Night Live. So
congrats!
Saturday. Yes,
congrats,
thank you. And so I moved it to Saturday, and I'm like, you know what? People have been asking because Black Ops 1 and 2 were released on the PS5 for like $20 a piece. If you're a PS Plus member. So I'm like, I bought them. So everybody's like, dude, play the campaigns. And I already own them on Xbox because I bought them like years ago when they came out on Xbox. And I'm like, well, I'll buy them over here for $20. So everybody's like, play them. So anyways, it's been so long, and obviously I drink a lot, so I have short-term memory loss. I don't remember the games at all. So I go in there, and I'm playing Black Ops 1 with the community. I did about a 3.5-hour stream of the game. Dude, it was like Michael Bay on cocaine times 10. It was so thrilling and so exciting, and and even the audience, we had like 850 people come by, check it out, and I'm just like, and everybody's like, dude, this is sorely missing from like a lot of these new ones. This is awesome. And actually, funny enough, there were a lot of people in the chat who had never played Black Ops 1, right? So I played that, and I was blown away by the production value. The graphics still look good, even though it's a straight port of the PS3. There's no advantage because someone asked me, they're like, what are you playing it on? I'm like, well, I'm playing it on the PS5 Pro. And they're like, oh, what are the advantages? I'm like, literally nothing.
I think it's
it's the same as
it's 1080p version. As well. It's not even like,
it is.
But
it is. I'm like,
those games still look good.
Series X, Xbox One, the same. But
even
amazing.
The Black Ops 2 looks way better than Black Ops 1. So like they've made such.
Well, even Black Ops 1 still looked impressive. But the music, the set pieces, the explosions, the like everything going on, the emotion, all the stuff. And I'm going, man, this is Call of Duty. And people in the chat were like, this is when the campaigns were seriously awesome. Now, Modern Warfare 1, the reboot from 2019, the original one, it has one of the best Call of Duty missions I've ever played. It's the one where you go to the British flat and you have to take out the 13 people inside the little apartment building there or whatever. You climb up with your ladder into the kitchen and they're making like plans and you take out the 3 guys in the kitchen and then you go upstairs. And that was amazing. But overall, I mean, man, you just forget sometimes how good you had it, man. And you just like you're playing this Black Ops 1. And like I said, I'm telling you, Activision could have made a mint if they had just repackaged this thing, remastered it for Xbox and PlayStation, and released them for $40 a piece. They would have made a mint off of that.
What were they thinking?
4K, 120 FPS, cleaned up graphics, whatever.
Yeah.
They
made a mint just by what you said, just by porting it over there and calling it good. But
I know, but they could have doubled that because you could have put it back on Xbox, not Game Pass, just Xbox. People would have rebought, or like maybe. Oh, sorry, how about this? Do like what the PlayStation did with all their remasters. Or if you have early access, like to a premium edition, like for example, Halo. If you're getting Halo and Game Pass, for example, you want to pay extra. For me, it's $30 Canadian. You get to pay it 5 days early. But charge the Xbox guys $10 for the upgrade. $10 each game. So $20, you get a 4K 120 FPS.
Or 20,
cleaned up graphics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever. I'm just saying, like, they could have sold that and packaged it for both consoles, and people would have rebought it even on Xbox and paid for the upgrades easily. Yeah. Man, what a missed opportunity. But either way.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I've been playing.
There's a lot of complaining out there, but oh man, the games are great. We're not even in the big gaming season. You're not supposed to have cool games in July. And
it's Halo week. It's Halo week this week.
Yep. Yeah, so we'll see how that all goes for everybody. But I'm over here sipping on some Legendary right now. I doubled it up because I've got a huge mug here. Mag, tell everybody about 4XP and we'll get into the gaming news.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I was going to say, actually, is that, when it comes to a company that does not require any upgrades, no paid upgrades, no 4K at 120 FPS, because they were born at 4K 120 FPS, ladies and gentlemen, is 4xpgaming.com, ladies and gentlemen. You want to get the best of the best. Never mind the past, never mind the future. We're talking about right now. We're talking about 4xpgaming.com. You can get that right now. And I can tell you this, folks, for the summertime, it's great time. It's the perfect time for this kind of thing, is that when you get orders over $50, free shipping. Can you imagine that? Free shipping. No one else is doing that. You don't have to pay a monthly subscription to Amazon to get free shipping or anything else like that. 4XP just does it for you because you know why? Because they're good people, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. Colteastwood's got 4XP right there, right in front of his face. Which one are you drinking tonight? Sorry, I didn't catch it.
I'm drinking Legendary, but I've got 3 white gummies here. Yeah, Legendary is blue raspberry. Love it.
Yep. And let me tell you something, folks. If you want to talk about Legendary, never mind the drink. We're talking about the company themselves, 4xpgaming.com. Go check it out. Link is in the description. Link is in the chat right now. Go check them out. Free shipping of orders over $50 for the summer. Get into it. Let's go.
Yes, and 4XP can make you fly, so you can jump off your garage after you have a sip and see what happens.
Exactly. We don't... 4XP just won the World Cup. Never mind anybody else. Spain didn't win the World Cup. 4XP did.
Hey, the chat wants to know, and you're wrong. You don't need 5XP when you have 4XP. You don't even need 6XP. You just need 4. Let's talk about the Xbox tax, because you and I on this show have been like anti-Xbox tax. We don't believe it's real, but there's been a couple of instances lately that have absolutely drove people crazy. Off the top of my head, there was an article that said Marathon now has as few people playing it as Starfield. And I'm like, what are we doing here? And I remember replying to a VGC or Gamer Rant. I don't remember who it was. And I said, Marathon came out this year. Starfield is almost 3 years old, and it's a single-player game. What are we doing here, you Xbox taxers? And then a very prominent...
That is pretty funny. That's a bit of a stretch. Yeah, that's a bit of a reach for that one. I can understand. Sorry, go ahead. I'll get into it.
No, go ahead, because
what I was going to say is, if you want to bring up Starfield in any conversation, you could say, well, there are more people playing, on Steam. There are more people playing Skyrim than there are Starfield or whatever. I did see. You're doing something that's relevant to the conversation, right?
Yeah.
So when you do a reach like that, even though for the most part, a lot of times I don't buy into it, which you already know. But to pull out Starfield out of a hat like a magician with a rabbit, that's a little ridiculous. It's like it's not even the same conversation. Why would you pull that game? And it's
he pulls it right out of his swim shorts, Mag. Right in the netting.
Dude, that's a reach, and that's ridiculous. I mean, like I said, I'm not on board with all of it. You know what I mean, with the Xbox tax thing. But that is 100%. That is 100% it. I will bend the knee to that one. That is the most ridiculous reach I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, dude, don't embarrass yourself. Save it for when it's authentic. But when like that is ridiculous. Yeah. Just say Marathon sucks and nobody's playing the effing thing. How about that? Just say that. Yeah, you don't have to bring in anything up.
Someone in the chat said that maybe they were saying more about Marathon than they were Starfield. They're like, Marathon's so bad that because it's reader service. It pisses off the Xbox fans and the Starfield fans, and then the people that hate Starfield and don't like Xbox, it gets them, gathers them all together in one point. Red Wolf's in the chat says, "Tell me about it. I've been dealing it for years." Yeah, I absolutely.
I mean, it's kind of funny though. Like, I mean, I don't take any of that stuff. I mean, some people really get in their feelings about stuff, but I'm like, it's funny, but. I mean, that's kind of silly. That's a silly thing. I mean, like you could say like Marathon compared to, I don't know, Arc Raiders, something in the same category would make sense.
Yeah,
that makes Marathon's doing so bad that you can say there are 1,700 concurrent players. Meanwhile, Arc Raiders has whatever 40,000 or 30,000 or whatever. Fill in the blank for like a live service, like kind of whatever the hell they call those games, extraction shooters or whatever. You make a comparison that makes sense.
Yeah,
like it's that doesn't make it, but that is kind of funny though. I mean, I will admit.
I mean the
kind of thing you guys laugh.
The Xbox tax was on full display this week with gosh, sometimes when I'm talking, I feel like people think I'm reading from a script. I'm looking at teleprompter. Hooked on phonics work for me.
He's not looking at a monitor.
I'm not only the hair club president, I'm also a client. Yeah, the other thing that came up was when Bethesda put up this whole memorandum or this manifesto about all the games they're working on, which we'll talk about later. A lot of games media journalist sites were just basically flaming Bethesda and Xbox, saying that, they can't trust them with the Fallout, and Todd Howard lost the Fallout franchise. They're making Obsidian work on it. There's no way these games are coming out in the next 20 years. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But there is this one site that I don't remember, this site on this company on Twitter. And maybe it's better that I don't say their name. But here was their tweet. Because some of the latest news that came out was that Matt Booty and Matthew Ball both made some pretty strong statements about Xbox exclusivity, which were kind of docking. They were kind of they didn't agree with each other, but we'll get into that. But here's the quote, because Matt Booty said that I think that Xbox fans are fixating too much on single player games being exclusive. And then he goes on to say stuff. We'll talk about that in a moment. But this tweet said, quote, Xbox CCO Matt Booty says gamers are too obsessed with single-player games. Stop. That's it. That's the quote. That gamers are too obsessed with single-player games. And he doesn't say the rest of the sentence, which was literally right there and would fit in the copy when it comes to exclusivity agreements or whatever, or when it comes to exclusivity. And this tweet blew up. And not only did that, but there were thousands of people in the replies mag that were like, oh, Matt Booty doesn't know what he's talking about. I love single-player games. Like, where would we be without Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption or whatever? Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Fire Matt Booty. He hates single-player games. Of course, they can't monetize it. Yeah. Why in the world would they want a single-player game? They want live service. They want you on Game Pass. And it goes on and on and on over this one headline, which literally stripped out a contextual part of the quote. Did you see this thing, Mag?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but I mean that's what social media is now, and social media has become taking things out of context and spinning it into whatever direction they want to angle their readers to react. Right? I mean, like I said, I've said this before on this very show. Dave Chappelle said it. He says we literally live in the worst timeline right now. He says we live in the age of spin, where like everything that is said is literally not real. It's all been taken out of context, and it happens to us, man. It happens to you. It happens to me. It happens to other YouTubers. It happens on Twitter. It happens by these the media sites. They all do the same thing. They get the headline. I mean, that's been going on for decades, but the way it is now is so insanely egregious. It's ridiculous. But the thing is that because doom scrolling has become so prevalent in society, is that people are not willing to take the time to click an article. People are not willing to. No. All they do is react to the title and freak out And then they do, you know what I mean? And whatever. And then like you see it on Instagram as well. You see it on Facebook. You see it on whatever, in all these different areas. And what happens is they'll show you like a news article, woman beaten by migrants in wherever. And you're like, what son of a bitch? This got to stop. And then all of a sudden you go into the thing and it shows that it happened in 2011.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what they keep doing is they do it to like sensationalize something that they're capitalizing on news stories that are happening now or whatever else. And so people freak out and they're not getting the whole thing. Now with the Matt Booty thing, I'm only bringing that up because so much is taken out of context and taken, it's pushed as a narrative as if it happened yesterday morning or it happened today or whatever. The Matt Booty thing is you took half a sentence, right? And then you didn't get the whole sentence. You didn't get, God forbid someone actually knows how to read and read the article and click on it and see what it was all about. However, at the same time, I don't give those news outlets the time of day either, because I'm like, listen, man, if you're not going to give me the proper contextualization in the title, then I'm not clicking and you're not making money off me. You're not making your 13 cents. So I just walk from that. You know what I mean? And then I get my information elsewhere, and then I'll look into these stories or whatever else. But that kind of stuff, I find it to be irresponsible and ridiculous. And then what ends up happening is people get enraged for nothing. However, at the same time, I am also going to blame the readers, the fans, and whatever for being too effing touchy. Y'all need to grow some thicker skin and just relax. Calm down.
Sorry.
You know what I mean? Like, calm down. Everybody rages over everything. I had someone freak out the other day, who actually is a friend of my channel, absolutely lose his mind on me when I made the video about about mixed messaging between Matthew Ball and Matt Booty or whatever when it came to the exclusives thing, right? And the title of my video was, which is it, right? It's supposed to be a comical thing. It was me going like this on the whatever. And just goes off. Where do you get this information about? What is it about? Who's it about? And then he's like, where are you getting this stuff? I swear to God, you guys all just do this for clicks and that.
That's
and
the
like,
video you're supposed to make, though, Mag. When I didn't watch your video because I was on a reunion.
To him.
That was your video. Hold on, let me.
Yeah.
Your video is what you were supposed to make, because you were not the only one who was like, this sock puppet's saying this one, this saying the other thing. So,
the point of my video
commend
is
you.
Those were the mistakes of the past. That the reason why I made the video, I said, these are mistakes that they've been doing for 13 years that need to stop. And it did stop for about a good, whenever Asha started. They seem to be all on the same page, and then all of a sudden this thing happens, and then it fractures it. And I said, these are the mistakes that you have to avoid, and that's why it's so important to know your history, because when you don't know your history, you will tend to repeat the same mistakes, right? That's the whole point of learning your history and knowing your history. And that I said, and that was the point of the video, is like, don't fracture what's happening. It may not be great what direction, not everybody may be on the same page on the direction you're going in, but if you're still going in the one direction, that gives you a lot more leeway and a little bit more bulletproof for a lot of criticism, even though you're still going to face criticism. But either way, the point is that it was fracturing the conversation, which has been a mistake they made over and over. And this guy's losing. Where did you get this? Where did you get? And I literally responded to him. I normally wouldn't, but it's because it's somebody I know. I'm like, from Matt Booty. I'm like, it's from himself. The article. Yeah. I'm like, and then he disappeared, and his comment disappeared. Funny enough. So I'm like, people need to calm down and just get a little thicker skin. Not everything that YouTubers do or what these people do are for clicks or whatever. A lot of it is get your information. I mean, it is for clicks, but I'm saying get information out there, whatever. And if it doesn't make you happy, then don't watch it. But
I want to reset.
Anyways, in this case, it's irresponsible. Sorry. Go ahead.
It is, and I want to reset it for the audience because I'll go back to the quote where Matt Booty said that gamers are too fixated on single-player games. The rest of the quote was, when it comes to if they're exclusive or not. So I'll say it again. Gamers are, I'm paraphrasing it, it's pretty close. Gamers are too fixated on whether single-player games are exclusive. He said nothing's set in stone. That was his quote. The problem is, which Meg can speak to it better, but we won't go over everything because this happened on Friday or Saturday or whatever it was. Yeah, it was Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
So
Saturday,
yeah. Matt Booty is basically saying, hey, we're going to pick and choose which single-player games will be exclusive, but we'll still have some. And then Matthew Ball is saying that we feel it's super important to have games that bring people to the platform, which sounds like they're not saying the same thing. But for people who are like, Matt Booty needs to be fired. And I don't like a lot of things that Matt Booty has been saying. So I'm frustrated with that, and I don't think he should have said that at all. He shouldn't have said, you guys are being, because it comes off like you guys are being too fixated about single-player games. Just get over it. He shouldn't have said that. He should have said single-player games are important, and we're looking at exclusivity, or say nothing. And
just said nothing. Just let them let they're already going through enough stuff right now with all the changes, and the layoffs, and the this and the that. People's uncertain futures. People like not a lot of people. There's people like protesting in front of the Bethesda building and whatever. I mean, they got enough stuff going on. You don't need to add more to it, but that's the problem. The thing is, as soon as you go like this, open your clam and start that's when you cause more problems. And now you just prolong whatever. And then, like I said, it causes confusion. And that was the thing. I think the best option would have been to not say anything at all and then just leave what you already have available right now. Bethesda put out their little thingy-mabobber about the, about Fallout and what their plans are, another DLC for Starfield and whatever. And then they already had talked about how they're going to do Gears of War E-Day as a console exclusive and Clockwork Revolution as a console exclusive. And that's fine. You leave it at that. When you're ready to announce the next one, that's when you talk. Don't say anything before then.
Well, I mean, they do need to set
whatever the next.
They need
to
set expectations, Mag. They need to set expectations of this is what you can expect going forward when it comes to games that are on
they just did.
The Xbox platform. Well, he's like, it's not set in stone. And Magnum said that Matthew Ball's comment came after Matt Booty. Yeah, it did. So for everyone who, I've seen this a million times, for everyone said Matt Booty needs to be fired because he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's not listening to Asha or Matthew Ball. If you think that Matt Booty is not in almost every single meeting when it comes to what Xbox is doing going forward, you're wrong. Matt Booty said, we're not set in stone. He's basically saying not every single player game is going to be exclusive because that's what they've been talking about ad nauseum since they've been moving this. And they're probably looking at Fallout 5, Elder Scrolls 6 will be exclusive, but they're probably thinking right now it's going to be a timed exclusive, 6 months, a year, and then they'll put on PlayStation. If they do that, which we'll get into later, they are absolutely digging a hole for themselves and for their Helix console. So let me read a couple supers. I want to make sure I get these questions out of the way. Kung Fu Hot Dog, thank you so much for the 16-pound
super. Hot Dog, where you been?
He's been everywhere. I'm sending him a Kung Fu 1.
I haven't seen him on the channel in a while.
Yeah, you go over and hang out with Mag, bro. We appreciate you. He won the PS5 code for Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Nice, and then he's like, I don't have a PS5, and I was going to try and get him an Xbox copy, and he said, send me a hoodie, so I'm going to send him out, or a t-shirt, I'm going to send him one out. He says, hey, Colt cool. Mag, I hope Asha Sharma showed Todd a PowerPoint slideshow on what he did wrong with Starfield. Fingers crossed for Josh Sawyer that he ignites the magic for Obsidian's new Fallout game. Thank you, Kung Fu Hot Dog. As I said, I'm absolutely loving Outer Worlds 2 right now. I don't know how much Josh Sawyer worked on that game. I'm not sure if he did work on it very much. And it might be missing some of that magic, even though I love it. Itchy as Vegeta, thank you so much for the 2, says, it's over 9,000! I don't know why he said that, but I'm glad he did.
We were still screaming about Back to the Future at one point. It might be something like that.
Yeah, probably.
That might be the reference.
Cody Lee, thanks for the 5. He says, hey, guys, first time catching you live. I really love your content. Keep up the good work. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Give you a like for that one.
Yeah, now I will. Right. Meg's like, oh, wait, and now.
There.
Thank you. I was feeling kind of down in the dumps in a sort of way about, I put out that video on Friday and it didn't go super hot. And I'm like, well, it's been an amazing year. It's been absolutely amazing. Things have been really great. And sometimes I get into my head, but I appreciate it when I hear that. It means a lot to us. And we're busting our balls trying to make good content. We hope we do, give you something to watch that you like. Appreciate it. Cukes Max, thank you so much for the 10.
Oh.
Says, sup, Colt Mag. It's my birthday today. I'm 40.
Hey!
What do we think of Todd's interview with Jez on the all-new Fallout news? Do you think it's going to be Xbox PC exclusive? Love you, maggots.
What's up, Q Max? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, Q, we'll get into the Fallout stuff in just a little bit. I don't know what my order is, but we will talk about the exclusivity and what they should or shouldn't do and what some stuff that has been talked about. So we'll get into it. So Julius, thank you so much for the 2. Says, I get the same sense of wonder when I play Crimson Desert. When you're talking about Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Crimson Desert was awesome. Yeah. And you haven't even gone back to that. That game is huge.
No, we got inundated with like just awesomeness. And I started streaming all those other games, and I was like, oh, there's this game, now this game, now this game, now this game, now this game. And then we went to LA, come back, and now there's another game, now there's another game. And I'm like, you can't get back to it. I mean, I've got Lego Batman still sitting there. I mean, my family
I left that one too.
Hell out of it. My wife got the platinum on that one. My son is working on the platinum on that one. My daughter's playing it. I played a little bit of it, but you know what I mean? There's so much. It just Crimson Desert, it just got lost in the mix. However, it's still downloaded. I'm just staring at the tile. It's just not ready to run, you know.
110 hours.
What do we got? Halo in 48 hours, you know what I mean? Like, geez.
Oh, it's been a great year. The cadence of games, people say it all the time, but there's always a game right when you're done with something else. It's been great. Donnie, thank you so much for being here and channel modding the show tonight. Appreciate you, bro. He says, the chat thinks booty is a hemorrhoid on Xbox and ball was a busting hernia, and how bad Xbox was doing under the guidance of cheeks of booty. Some say buns. Cheeks of booty. I love it. Chris Washington, great. Thank you so much for the 10. He says, I love you too. Laugh out loud. My question is, hey, we love you too, bro. Thank you. He says, do you think there'll be another Titanfall game?
Oh, man, you know, like I think it should be okay, Chris Washington, this is what I'm going to say right now. I think that there should be a race for the dumbest decisions ever made. Is Titanfall 3, Battlefield Bad Company 3, and Days Gone 2. Yeah, which studio could be dumber? Okay, or which you know what I mean, or which publisher can be the biggest idiot right now? Titanfall 3, what's it called? Days Gone 2 and Bad Company 3. Is it that hard? Let's add another one to the mix. I'm pretty sure Sony's probably got them on it right now. But Destiny 3. Can we just do that?
I got a real tough question for you. I see Zocker in the chat, and I love it.
Stupid.
Zocker, I want you to write this answer in the chat. You get a choice between another Jedi Order game from Respawn or Titanfall 3 with multiplayer and another single-player campaign like we did with Titanfall 2. But you only get to pick one. Do you pick Titanfall 3 with campaign and multiplayer, or do you pick the third Jedi game from Respawn? He says Jedi 3. Jedi 3, huh? What about you, Mag?
J-Man Games. Sorry, I was going to answer something. He says Elder Scrolls 6 has been 15 years. It's still nothing. But you know the thing is, J-Man, at least we know it's actually coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at least we have confirmation that Elder Scrolls 6 is coming. But I think, Jedi 3, I don't know, man. I mean, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with Jedi 3. I loved Titanfall.
I'm going to go Titanfall 3.
I actually think that Titanfall 2's campaign was stellar. I think that was a fantastic campaign. However, I actually think that the multiplayer took a big step back, in my opinion.
You know what,
I thought the Titanfall 1. Yes, what's up?
Give me Titanfall 3 with the single-player campaign like 2 was, with the multiplayer.
And the multiplayer
just
from
the
1?
Multiplayer from 1. Yeah. None of that multiplayer from 2. Yeah,
the multiplayer from 2, I thought it was a step back. So you know what? I'm going to go with Jedi 3. I mean, let's go with that. Let's go with that.
Okay.
And Days Gone 2. And
anybody that wrote Jedi
and Bad Company 3. Not Battlefield 7. Bad Company 3.
Come on,
Forget
Marlo.
Battlefield 7. Nobody cares. And do not make an achievement or a trophy that requires you to get 1,996 or whatever the hell it is. 1,996 revives. Most ridiculous achievement trophy in the history of trophies, or it's up there anyway.
Hey, Red Wolf in the chat says, yo, Mag, Days Gone only has 3,000 people playing. It's currently a trash game compared to Starfield.
Well, you know the thing. Wait. So what are the concurrent? What are the concurrent numbers for Marathon? Was it 1,700 or something ridiculous?
It was something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so are you telling me that Days Gone has almost double the concurrent?
Yeah, that means you need a sequel. That's it right there.
Well, you have to get a sequel immediately. Yeah. Make everybody from Bungie make Days Gone 2.
Can you imagine going in to pitch that to Sony? We have 3,000 people playing Days Gone right now, and it's like 7 years old. All right, there you go. No, make
7. God, it's got to be longer.
2019
work there. What was that, Colt?
Well, you would never use them. Hey, are you going to go see I Play Rocky at the theater?
Dude, I'm going to see that in the theater 100%. I watched the trailer like 8 times in a row. And you
I
know what
did
the funny
too.
thing is about that trailer? Is that, what's up, Destin? How you doing? The one thing is that very interesting about that trailer is they also nailed the feel of inspiration of the Rocky movies through the trailer for a movie that's about making the Rocky movie.
Trailer.
You felt like isn't that weird how that it's so meta what they did with that trailer that I was cheering watching the trailer about a movie about the making of Rocky, and it had the same vibe and feeling. Like, dude, when I work out, I literally still listen to the Rocky soundtracks when I work out. Like I did tonight. I was listening to Rocky 4, you know.
Oh, Vince DiCola.
In the burning heart. Yeah, like all those songs and everything else. Yeah.
Are you going to watch?
There's no easy way out.
Are you going to watch the movie about the making of the trailer, about the making of the movie Rocky, about the...
Like, isn't that the most meta thing ever? Anyways, yeah, I play Rocky day one in the theater, and I don't go to theaters unless it's like a seriously big event. But that one I will see in theaters because that's like, I mean, you know. So
the guy does a little too much with his voice, but the rest
he's a little
he's nailing
vocal
it.
fry.
Yeah, it's a little
vocal
much.
fry with it. Yeah,
like he can lean it back because he's doing everything perfect. But I'm not going to complain other than making the comment. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
We got
way,
good
Jedi
stuff,
3.
man. Jedi 3, huh? All right. Well, hey, thanks to 3 people that said Titanfall 3. I'll see you guys. Destin's asking, did you go see the Odyssey? I don't know if my family will want to go or if my wife will go, but I want to go see it. So I need a friend to go with me. If I have to go solo, I'll find somebody to go.
I'll fly to Seattle. I'll take care of it. We'll do it.
Soccer, ain't nobody going to watch Dune 3, and you know it. Zucker and I give so much crap about Dune 1 and 2. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's an absolute masterpiece. I'm like, it's all right, I guess. Yeah. Enjoy it. Yeah. No, Rocky did talk like that, but I cannot wait for that movie. It's going to be great. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. One more before we move on. So Julius, thank you so much for the 5. Says Mag, don't feel bad. Crimson Desert is a slow burning, take my sweet time. You guys check out Den Shat Attack. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I've seen it. This is like,
I've been hearing about this.
What is it? It's like a bus on like Tony Hawk grinding bus going through a wrecking yard or something. Like I've only seen a few seconds, but it's one of those games that I think like 9 people made and it's set the world on fire. So yeah,
it's kind of like that Mecha Chameleon game.
Yeah,
that was made by like half of a person and like a house cat, and then you could buy it for like $1 or whatever, $4 on Steam or whatever, and then like it just became this huge phenomenon online. And dude is like obviously like instantly a millionaire now, so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's
hey, but you know what the thing is? That's how studios start, bro. That's how coalitions start. That's how Naughty Dog start. That's how whatever Rockstar starts. They all start somewhere. You know what I mean? And then, that's how, Shift Up started, just one dude or one gal or, 2 guys in a garage or whatever. And then that's how you find these people.
2 dudes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Justin Bieber on YouTube and Usher found him. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's how these things happen. It's just like, it's kind of cool to see that, and it just shows that they've got the seed of talent. They may not have the money or the means or whatever to do it, but if you spot the seed of talent, you can now cultivate that and turn that into something awesome. So I love these discoveries. You know what I mean? It's so cool, man.
It says a lot about the AAA games industry. It's like, what are we doing here? $300 million, 7 years on a game. Nobody played it. No one bought it. Yeah. It's
Look at Expedition 33. I mean, I know they were all ex-AAA devs, but it was a much smaller team, much more focused, very passionate, whatever. They did their thing, and they blew the entire gaming industry away. Hollywood, same thing. Same thing's happening over there. Just look at Obsession. Look at Backrooms. $750,000 budget, and all of a sudden you're crossing $250 million. You know what I mean? And it's just, you got the seeds of talent are out there. It's just, you need the right eyes to get the exposure. And that's why there's one good thing about the internet. There's 2 bad things. Internet has exposed us to every idiot on the planet, which normally used to just be the village idiot and nobody paid attention to them. But now we're forced to see all these. I was going to say a much more harsh word, but I'll save that for my channel. But anyways, we're forced to see these people. But the other good thing about the internet is that it also exposes us to great talent and possibilities. And I like to see that in the gaming space as well. Great.
Yeah.
Destin, hey, I'm on the internet.
And for one time only, you can check out Destin Legary on his channel. If you click, you got to click right now because he's only there a limited time. But yeah.
Oh my God.
No, there is some good stuff out there. It just makes me wonder. I had to. This you're gonna love this. My mom's not watching the show, so I can say this.
Okay.
I was at a family reunion, and all the people there are a lot older than they're like my age and older. And this kid was there with his parents, and he's like, "Oh, I play video games." I'm like, "Oh," and my mom goes, My son over there, he has a podcast. She points to my younger brother who does Under the Bus podcast, and UTB podcast is on Wednesday. Boner Jam shows up and always sends a super chat, but they talk about pop culture. They talk about movies and sports and music. They don't ever talk about video games. And this kid was like, "Yeah, I play this game and this game." And my mom goes, "My son over there, he has a podcast." And my mom, my mom's old. Like she associates that with hip culture. And like, "Hey, he has a podcast." And I'm literally sitting right next to my mom. And my brother goes, "Mom." And he's like, "Mom, duh," and points at me. And I'm like, "Yeah, I've got a podcast about video games, and we do it every Monday." And my host from Canada, and we have a few hundred people, sometimes 1,000. What do we have today? We have 640 people here live watching the show, and we get sometimes 10, 20,000 people that watch the show. And he's like, "Oh," and I'm talking about the industry. Then the old people pipe in. It's like, "Oh, is it on blogspot.com?" You know how they are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, it's on YouTube." And they were asking me questions, and one of the older couples there, they just retired from Microsoft. And yeah, guys, this will be relevant, this conversation here. And they both retired from Microsoft. Last week, the woman and then her husband retired like a couple years ago. And they offered her a 15% bonus to take an early retirement or maybe be part of the layoffs. So she took the early retirement. She's super happy with her decision, but she knows. She's like, everything is like really, really sketchy at Microsoft. And she knows that since I cover Xbox. And so I said, "Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of people about it. I know people that lost their jobs, and we were talking about the games industry, and she says, it seems like it's in really big trouble." And she doesn't know. She's just from the outside. It's really cool when you have a conversation about gaming with someone who is not like, "Oh, Respawn Studio is going to, doing this." They don't know all the minutia. And I said, "Well, I mean, my kids don't play all the games that are costing millions of dollars. Like Xbox Studios is spending 6 or 7 years and a couple $100 million, and no one's playing the games when you look at where everyone's on Roblox and stuff." And she was like, "Yeah, I can see that." And then that kid was sitting there because he plays Roblox and Minecraft. He's like 14. Yeah. So yeah, it's I put in a plug for the show for us, Mag, but it went over my mom's head. But hey, we might have gotten a couple subscribers.
That's how it goes. It's funny when my kids, I go pick them up from school and stuff like that, and I always get like a couple of kids turn around and say, "I love your stuff on YouTube. I watch all your videos." And I'm like, "Please don't. You're 11. I'm like, "Please don't ever watch my podcast." I'm like, "The video's fine. My videos are safe for everybody. I never swear, never anything else. I'm always super clean with my video. However, my podcast can get a little out of hand. I know it's just me, but I'm like, please don't ever watch my live stuff. Thank you very much." But it's kind of funny. But my son had a sleepover on Saturday. They're all 14. And there was like 6 of them in the basement. And I was live streaming Call of Duty at that time, right? So I'm in here in the studio and the door's closed. However, I got a French door here so you can see inside. And the French door is there. Shut up, French door. Anyways, the French door is there. And at one point, sorry, that was like my Robin Williams. At one point, I'm doing the thing and I could feel something staring at me, right? And so I look over and I see all these faces up against the glass because they're all trying to check out to see what I'm doing. At the same time, they were watching my stream on their cell phones.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, look at the magic. Look at the magic. There he is on YouTube. There he is in real life. This is so cool. And I'm like, "Get out of here, you little rats. Go watch pornography or something. I don't know. Get out of here. Do whatever 14-year-olds do at sleepover parties. Stop watching a man trying to make money." Anyways,
go watch the scrambled cable channel. Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I said a French door. True 77. Not what you said.
What does sacre bleu mean? My friend used to say that all the time. Does it mean like shut up or shove it or something?
I mean, bleu means blue, like sacred blue. I guess it's just like yeah.
I know, it's a funny one.
What's up, Little Table? How you doing?
Yeah, we appreciate. True knows what's up. True knows.
Yeah, the heavens. Okay, there you go. Yeah,
sacred blue. Kind of oh, well, why do you yell it?
Sacred blue. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Hey, yeah. March 23, my heart 23. Thank you so much for the advice. Says, Mag, do you have a GoFundMe? I know you don't look good. Something.
What the hell are you saying? I know you don't look
like
good. Something. Like, I think he said that last week too.
Meg looks ridden hard and put away.
I mean, I just finished.
Says it's like saying, "Wow, sacre bleu! Oh, wow, oui, oui."
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Basically,
yeah. I said Odele, and my wife's like, "Do you even know what that means?" I go, "I think it means what's up or something." Then it means hurry up. Yeah, andale, ande, arriba. Yeah. We were at church the other day, and this guy was talking in front of everybody, and he was telling a story, and he did like a Mr. Miyagi voice. And when you've got a mixed group of people that are like boomers and Gen Xers and then little kids, and you got this old man up there going, Danielson! And I'm like, because the younger kids are like, oh my gosh, it's so racist. I was like going, oh gosh, things we used to say. And it used to be great. Yeah, I mean, what's his name? Mr. Miyagi. Oh, he's amazing. What's his real name? Pat Morita. That's a voice. Like, he doesn't sound like that. He was doing it. It's amazing. He's what's such a legend.
Is that that I think we're older than what Pat Morita was in the first Karate Kid movie.
Right now we are?
Yeah, I think so.
Get out of here. Look it up. I don't believe that. I mean, he was all
I don't have my phone on me. I should have
It's probably pretty close. Actually,
I'll be right back. I got to get my phone. I left it in the other room.
Okay, we get to look at your butt on the way out. How old was Pat Morita in Karate Kid? Oh my gosh, he was a year older than us. Can you believe that? He was 52 in 1983 or 86? Was it 83? Yeah, that's crazy. Got a couple supers rolling in. You guys are awesome. We got P Lump. It's good to see you, P Lump. Thank you so much for the 5. Says 2 girls, 1 dragon. Stop the madness. Playing my damn theme song. Xbox has taken 1 day from us. Shout out to Colt Mag. P Lump, we appreciate you, man. So good to hang out with you in Los Angeles. You're awesome. We appreciate you. And shout out, go check out his channel. Subscribe. He does podcasts and other stuff. He's awesome. We got another one from Marg. Thank you so much for the 10. Why don't they realize that a disk drive will kill the PS6? Oh, it's such an easy decision. Like I said, Xbox could spend the $50, put a disk drive in their console. It's the problem. I'm going to play devil's advocate for Microsoft because I think they should just throw it in there. The likelihood of them doing an external that you plug in with the USB is probably not very likely. But here's the reality. You put in a $50 disk drive just to say you're the good guy. Multiply that by millions of units, the extra weight, the extra size, the extra shipment of freight, it all adds up. And when they make a console, they try to make it as slim and trim, except for PlayStation 5. They try to make that thing as trim as possible because every ounce of material, weight, and everything matters for their profit margin. And if they do the good guy thing by putting a disk drive in there, it might kill some of their profit margin. And you got to understand from their point of view, they're 90% of their customer base that wants to buy Helix is not buying games on disc anymore, let alone if they have even a collection, right? So I don't know, Mag. Is there some credence to that? I feel like I'm defending them, but that may be one of their reasons that just keeps them from being the good guy.
Hold on a second. You got to catch me. You got to catch me up on this, like the last 30 seconds.
Okay, I literally. Someone said, "Why don't they just be the good guys and put a disk drive in the Helix because PS6 won't have it?" He says it'll kill the PS6, and I said it'll add to weight, materials, and it'll kind of chew up some of their profit margin.
Yeah, cost more money, and
it'll make them charge more as well.
Right, and then what we've already been seeing is that a lot of things are trending towards digital anyway in the gaming space. We see by the numbers. I mean. It's for a diminishing group of people. So I think an option on the side, sure, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, up to this point, I don't know about the future, but I mean, up to this point, Game Pass has also been a focus for them up to this point. And that's an all digital thing, right? So, I mean, their highest selling console of the two, I mean, I would imagine most of it has to do with price, is the Series S, which is an all digital box anyhow. You know what I mean? So like, I don't think you're going to see a disk drive inside in the Helix.
I don't either. And Destin says, why does it need to be a disc? He says, just make an SSD based or an SD based games, sell them in unlimited quantities. It doesn't have to be a disc, like an SD card, like put an SD card type slot in there. I'm sure they could think about that, but the people trying to do a workaround to load games on an SD card, it'd have to be a proprietary format that only fits in that slot. So people couldn't take that thing and stick it into their computer and rip the files off of it. Like they have to be really careful about that. The discs, I wouldn't know this by personal experience, but the discs that you buy are loaded full of DRM, and that has to be stripped away by killer software engineers that are out there breaking the law. So I don't know. That's an interesting thing. An SD disc it doesn't solve the problem, Destin. It kind of creates a new one, because if you own 15 or 1,500 discs and they're like, we're moving to an SSD or an SD thing, and then you're like, we still have physical games, but now we're a totally different format, and all those discs are worthless. But the disc digital program will fix that, which they still
I was going to say the disc to digital program is their best option, and I think that's the best you're going to get moving forward.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. That's it.
Holy cow. Yeah, that's I don't even know. I'm trying to do timestamps.
Like I said, once again, when people are already looking at prices being a serious issue, especially for next generation, and people trying to currently build PCs, for example, or even the current hardware now, at the prices they are now, I can't see them putting in a disk drive that's going to make the console cost even more than what they are already projecting it to cost, and then think that that's going to be some kind of a win. That is absolutely going to backfire, because no matter what, even if they offer the disk drive, just the price alone, which already is going to be unattainable for a lot of people in the gaming space, then you're going to get to the point where you're just like, man, now you really priced yourself out of people. You know what I mean? Of a diminished fan base as it is. And it's like, that's not really a good look. I know some people want that and everything else, but that's pie in the sky stuff. We're talking business versus, sort of the fantasy or the idea of it being like, oh yeah, this way. And I get it. I understand what people are saying. I'm like, yeah, I could see that. But like, the reality is no. That's the only thing I could think of.
Tip Top Dalton, there is a payment plan, and they'll very likely move it for Helix as well. I broke it down in a video where it'd be about $65 a month for 2 years, gives you Game Pass Ultimate and a Helix. And what Mag was saying about the price, like teetering over the edge, maybe they're pretty sure that the Helix is going to be $999. But if you add the disk drive in the equation, then they have to move up to the one number. And anybody who knows retail, like, the psychology of looking at a number, it's very important. Yes. And if you push that over, if it's $1,010 or $1,009 or whatever, it looks like way more money. I don't feel that way when I look at numbers, but maybe it's like it's not worth it.
It's a 3-digit versus a 4-digit code. Yeah, that's what it is, right? Yeah. And even with the lower prices, you got to think about it. Why do you think everything is $399, $499, $599? Why don't you just pay? Well, why don't you just make it $400 or $500 or $600? And I'm like, because it's the psychology of it. It makes you look at the number 3 as opposed to the number 4. Right. Yeah. And it always and then the thing is, again, when you're looking at $999 versus $1,000, then you're going from 3 digits to 4 digits. Right. So that's what people are like, yo. And then all of a sudden that puts a shock value to it. Right. And that's where people have issues. So,
yeah, you'll repel so many people. So I don't know. The disc to digital thing is at least something. We talked about that last week. Mm-hmm. They're at least going to allow you to transfer your stuff. So you have the disc. Well, you put it in once in your console at one point when it transferred, and then that game is still playable even if it's sitting on your shelf. And it's more than PlayStation will do. I also don't believe that people are actually going to boycott PlayStation over this. I think they were evil in their announcing it now so people can get over it by January 2028, which is in a long time from now.
Well, isn't it a mystery? It's not really much of a mystery when you look at what's going on, that you see like all this bad news is dropping before all the whole dump truck of epic games coming in the fall, because by the time everybody's neck deep in all that stuff, they kind of forget all about it. I know there's always going to be someone out there saying, we're not going to forget. And I'm like, that's fine. But like those numbers continue to diminish as more things happen. I mean, you saw people fold faster than a lawn chair when Black Ops 1 and 2 dropped. And then I have not seen one refund for GTA 6 all digital. You know what I mean? And already they're doing this now. Microsoft is pushing it right now. If you pre-buy or whatever the digital version of Call of Duty, you get the beta access that comes up in August 21st, I believe it is, somewhere around there. And so you've got that, and you get the early access. You're not getting early access if you buy a physical. Halo, you don't get the early access if you buy the physical. Gears of War E-Day, you don't get the early access if you buy physical. You have to all buy digital for that. Like, do you guys not see what's happening?
I saw a quote today that said, you guys did this to yourselves. You supported digital for so long, and this is where we are. I don't remember who said that, but I'm like, ouch. It's so true. We've talked about it, and we have people in our chat every week. They're like, I play only on physical, or I play a lot of on physical, and we did a poll last week. But as the issue is, the majority have put us in this position where we are, and that's so funny. I won't bring it up, but it's like, it's my brother came over. I was over at his house, and he sat like 40 records on my lap when we were talking about this physical digital thing, because his son plays video games on Xbox Series X all the time, and he just laid down all these records. He's like, I collect these, and I'm like, do you listen to them in a record player? He's like, yeah, my kids bought me a record player. I put them in there once in a while. I'm like, cool, that's awesome, and I think that's cool, and I love I love like listening to something and then getting in my car and it picks up where I left off. I get out, I go to the gym, and the song's still going, the earbuds are in, and it's just a continuous stream. I would have loved that when I was a teenager, without carrying around a Walkman. But anyway.
JV Smooth in the chat says it's nice to have choice. Yes, no, we do agree with that. We want a choice, but we're saying, you see how they angle you? Like, they're angling you towards it no matter which way you look at it. Like I said, with those added on, online incentives and stuff like that, right? By early access and all this other kind of stuff, they're all angling towards that anyway. But yes, you're absolutely right, and I agree with you. A choice is paramount when it comes to customer satisfaction, in my opinion. But anyways, carry on. Let's talk about some other stuff.
Yeah, it would be great if some company just stepped in and said, we're going to handle all physical production for everyone. So like they cut a deal with PlayStation and Xbox. We'll press all the discs. You don't have to worry about it. It'll be our financial responsibility. But yeah, it'll be a tough one. I want to talk about Game Pass, because when I saw Matthew, we didn't even properly. No, I think we're good. But when Matt Booty said that we're going to be kind of pick and choose what games go exclusive, it made me think maybe we need to revisit the question, should first-party games delay on Game Pass? And so let me posture this idea to you guys. And I know you're not going to like it, because I don't love it either. I don't want this, but I think there's a push and pull where one has to give. What if Game Pass went down to $15 a month? Instead of $25 or whatever it is now for Ultimate, the Game Pass model was $15 a month. It got all of Xbox's first-party games. Going forward, those would be a 6-month delay. Not a year, not 90 days, 6 months. Think about it. It's February 2027. You're paying for Game Pass. They've changed what they do, and Fable is not coming to Game Pass in February. It's coming out in July. You're a Game Pass subscriber, and I want you guys to think about this. You too, Mag. Would you sit there and go, I don't want to wait. Oh, there's one more thing. I don't want to wait for Fable, but do I? It's going to be in Game Pass in July, and I've waited for lots of games. That game got delayed anyway. For $15, I can have that in July. But if you buy it now as a Game Pass subscriber, you get a 30% discount or something. You're a Game Pass subscriber. You can buy Fable right now with everybody, 30% off, because you're a Game Pass subscriber. That, in my opinion, before I give it to you, Mag, that could push Xbox to put all their single-player games exclusive to PC and Xbox.
Well, you see, the business model that they have been already utilizing has already been sort of angling in this direction of trying to recoup more money from lack of sales because of Game Pass, for example. We've seen it with Forza Horizon with the premium edition to play early. As I mentioned just a few minutes ago, premium edition for Halo, you got to pay an extra $30 for it. I mean, $30 for me. I don't know what it costs in the US, maybe 20, 25 for the upgrade. Gears of War is doing the exact same thing. I have no doubt in my mind they'll do the same thing for Fable. You want the premium edition, you could play it 5 days early, whatever, before everybody else. And on and on and on. And you could see that they're already, like, you could see this is pattern recognition we're talking about here. We're already seeing it happen now, that clearly they're trying to recoup lack of sales as a result of that situation, right? You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, yeah.
And so as a result of that, I mean, Call of Duty is a whole different beast because they removed it from Game Pass entirely. Now, 6 months? I don't know if 6 months is even long enough, dude.
That's a good,
I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think people will wait for 6 months because they'll be like, whatever, man. I got so much stuff in my backlog. I got all these other games coming out. I'll do that. And the thing is, I think that if the game is super hot, let's just say it is 6 months for argument's sake. If it is 6 months, then I think at that point, if the game is like super amazing and super hot, then people will be like, you know what? I can't wait. I need to play this right now. Like, I don't think people would wait 6 months for Gears of War. I think
like
they would want that immediately.
Yeah, like
right. So they would just bypass Game Pass entirely and just buy the game and just say, forget it, man. I'll pay for it. I'll buy it, whatever. And that's all there is to it. You know what I mean?
Like last year, you were kind of on and off of Game Pass. Like, I want to ask which ones you would buy and which ones you would wait. Like, I'm gonna try and
like
say
right now.
Okay,
like
you ready?
Talk about
you tell me. Let's pretend this thing's in motion. The game's too hot. You're gonna buy it right away, or you're gonna wait for it 6 months. Oblivion remaster.
I would wait.
Doom the Dark Ages.
I would buy that.
Okay. Tony Hawk 3 and 4 remaster.
I would wait for that because I played them back in the day. So
Avowed.
I wouldn't mind waiting for that. Yeah, I'd wait for that.
Outer Worlds 2. Yeah, no, this is fine. This is a good question.
I would wait for those ones.
Outer
Like,
Worlds.
I mean, those ones don't really, grab me too much. But like, for example, like you said, like Forza Horizon, I'd buy that. If I had you know what I mean? If they put it 6 month delay, I'd buy that.
So do you kind of feel?
I'd buy Gears of War.
What I'm trying to set up, you kind of feel like you're given kind of a cool choice. Like, I don't want to wait. 30% off sounds pretty awesome. Plus, Game Pass is cheaper. And if a game is like, maybe I'll just wait, and then I could save even more money.
Right. Tuggernaut says Forza sold well regardless. Yeah, the majority of those sales were on Steam.
Yeah, because majority of Xbox people are on Game Pass. Yeah.
Right. So they were on Steam.
So I know I've split the audience.
Yeah.
I've split the audience to say
no.
no.
Yeah. I figured you would. But yeah, it's a whole thing, man. It's just like, like for example, like if Gears of War, if you gave me a 6 month window saying, well, you can get it on Game Pass 6 months from now, it'd be a no brainer. I buy it day one. But because I have Game Pass till November, it's already there. But that presents whole other problems, like when it comes to, like, for example, Gears of War. I talked about it on my show last week. I'm like, I'm starting to think that Gears of War on the Xbox side is that a lot of people are going to consume that on Game Pass because they know that 2 weeks later, similar demographics or whatever, they're going to have to buy Call of Duty, right? Because they don't have to, but I'm saying if they were planning on buying it, they're going to look at the two and say, well, I want both. I want Gears of War and I want Call of Duty. And I'm like, well, I got Game Pass right now. Well, I'll play Gears on Game Pass, not buy it. And then they're going to buy Call of Duty at full price because you have no choice, right? Yeah. So all of a sudden you can see Gears, Call of Duty doing incredibly well. Gears of War may suffer in terms of sales as a result of that. I'm not saying it will, but it might. There's always the hardcore that are always going to buy the $150, the $120 edition. And, get the chainsaw on their house.
I mean, Game Pass people they spend the extra to get the early access.
For the premium, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you're going to get that too. And I don't know how that's all going to work out in the end. It'd be very interesting to watch and see, but like that kind of a game. But if you gave me no choice, for example, or you gave me a choice, a 6 month delay, I would buy Gears of War without question, and I'd buy Call of Duty. I'd buy them both. I'd be like, listen, man, I get those too. So
do you feel like you would buy half of the games and the other half you just wait on?
Yeah, I would.
Seems like
I
that.
would be more picky and choosy. Like
I would
be the
too.
Kind of thing that, like, You know what it remind me of, Colt? It would remind me of like when I was much younger in the Xbox 360 days, when I didn't have as much expendable income. I mean, not that I do now. I mean, geez, the older you get, you thought it was going to get easier. It actually gets harder, and there's more stuff to pay for. But the thing is, in
the hair plugs alone, Mag.
I know the hair plugs cost a lot of money. I really did not have a lot of money back in those days. I wasn't even married yet, whatever else, and all that jazz. And so I was very picky and choosy on what I bought. So you know what I did? And I used to buy the games that I knew were going to be surefire hits for me. And the other games that I was interested in or whatever, I go rent them at Blockbuster for $5.
Yeah.
So isn't that the same as Game Pass in a way?
Or you just stagger
think about it?
Yeah, like I remember staggering. I'm like, hey, Crackdown 2 is going to have to wait because I just got Just Cause and Red Dead. Yeah. Right. I mean, I did that too.
Like I would buy Red Dead 1 and then I would rent the Captain America game. Or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about Fallout in those days, so I rented that from Blockbuster. And then I would buy Need for Speed Underground 2 or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever I felt I'd like to prioritize when it came to purchases, that's what I would do. And so that's no different than what's happening now. Game Pass is Blockbuster Video, the same idea. So people will say, well, I'll play that over there. And I'll prioritize my $70 for this over here because I can't get that over there or whatever.
It's so funny that
like people will do that.
It's so funny that no one complained about GameFly. Hold on, we got 745 people watching live right now. If you are watching, thank you so much, guys. If you're watching the show on your phone or on your PC, if you're driving, this isn't for you. I didn't say this, but I put a poll in the chat. You can see it on the bottom. Let's see, what is it on mobile? I never have the show up on here, but I want you to go to it. Holy crap, there's a lot of people live. Okay, where's my channel? Get out of here. There we go. I put a poll in the chat.
Yeah.
Make sure myself. Where is it?
Well, as it stands right now, the poll is 55% are saying yes, they would agree to a 6-month delay with a cheaper price. Now, the thing is,
hold on,
we also have to remember that
hold that thought.
Xbox
Hold that
Live
thought.
Sorry,
hold that thought about Xbox Live. What I wanted to say, I'm sorry, I didn't get to it. Go vote on the poll if you're watching the show because we only have 140 votes and there are 700 plus people watching. I really like to know. It says, would you buy or would you want Game Pass if it was $15 a month with 30% off of Xbox first party titles that come 6 months later? Now, right now, Game Pass is $25. It would take a $10 decrease. So I want to know if you would like that because then you can pick and choose what you want to buy right now at a discount or just say, I'm not really interested in Ninja Gaiden 4. I'll wait until that comes 6 months later and then I'll play it for free. So anyway, sorry, Mag, you're going to say, remember Xbox Live.
I was going to say, that's why I wanted to bring up Xbox Live, not Game Pass, is that Xbox Live is still a thing. You still got to pay for your online if you're on the console, right? So at some point, you're still going to have to subscribe to some kind of a service in order to be able to play online. You want to play Call of Duty, you want to play Gears, you want to play whatever, GTA Online. You still got to pay for Xbox Live, and they just baked it into their different tiers of Game Pass, right? So that being the case, you're still going to have to subscribe to something anyway. So at that point, you might as well prioritize what you would buy day one and then leave the rest for what you would leave for the service.
Yeah.
I could totally see them doing this, by the way. I could absolutely see them do this. Have you noticed that like a lot of their business talkings of the last little while, very few of it has actually mentioned Game Pass as being like their focus?
Yeah, because they cut the price.
Sort of like,
yeah, and they're working on what to do next. And I think if they did this thing that I'm proposing, it would be another like we are pulling another 180 on you. So I don't think this is a good thing, but I think it might be the right thing. Mike TV, thanks for the 5 and the super. He says, Colt, you said multiple times on Twitter we shouldn't condone exclusives. No, I don't say that multiple times that we shouldn't condone exclusive. I've said that exclusives are used as fanboy fodder in list wars constantly. The best games are multiplat? Absolutely. The best games ever, the most popular games, the most sold games, the most played games are almost always multi-platform games. That doesn't say anything to me. I'm not saying anything about exclusives being bad. Exclusives serve one purpose, Mike. They serve as a way for the console to sell more units for that platform. Now, you can say that consoles have a value, that exclusives have value to you because they give you a reason to buy your console. the issue is once you've bought your console, the exclusives are there regardless. So now if Xbox took their exclusives away and started selling them on PlayStation, I've always said that sucks, because if you chose a Series X and then way in the middle of the generation, Xbox says, we're going to put those games on PlayStation, you're like, well, I could have bought a PlayStation because I could have had those games and Xbox's games. But now they're moving away from that. So, yeah, the thing that I say most often, Mike, that never gets properly quoted because fanboys don't listen to me, they listen to everybody else who talks about me. I said that gaming franchises and the games will be more healthy if they are allowed to grow by having more sales. So multi-platform games could help. I say when exclusivity is dissolving, my quote is, that is healthy for game franchises and those titles and those studios. Because right now we've saw exclusivity dissolving across the board, and then they stopped. Like even PlayStation put Helldivers on Xbox. They put 6 MLBs on there. I don't care why or when or what the reason is, but I never thought in my whole entire life that PlayStation would put a game on Xbox. But there we were, and now they'll never do it again. They ceased all plans, and now Xbox is pulling a 180. So he says, you'd rather have day one Game Pass drops? No, I think I was telling you with my poll that I would rather have Xbox have exclusivity for their console so that they could drive the console forward. Now, PlayStation's not going to, their console's not going to die because they're set up. Xbox needs console exclusivity if their platform is going to live. They need some form of exclusivity. So me personally, I'm buying all these games. So do I want them on Game Pass? I haven't used Game Pass like the way I used to. It's really hard for me to answer that question because it's difficult for me to answer that because a lot of those games, I review them. So I'm not buying them. And if I wasn't, I was getting them on Game Pass anyway. I would rather have a cheaper Game Pass and then buy the games I want. The point that Meg and I were trying to make is if Xbox puts out 10 games a year from their own studios, half of those Meg and I would buy day one. The other half, I might not even play them. So anyway, that's where I'm at with that. Let's see. Where are we? Meat Puppet, thank you so much for the 5. Meg, Cal Kestis, full dark side in 3 would be awesome. And Cal would be the whole problem. What do you think, Mag? You're big into this.
That would be a little bit much because at that point, I mean, what would be the point of having the hero if he's the villain? You know what I mean? And then the thing is, what's going to be an issue with Cal Kestis is it's getting to a point now that like it'd be pretty hard to ignore this guy because he's never mentioned once in any of the actual films or any of the trilogies or anything like that. It's like he's completely non-existent. But like as things get more and more sensational, so to speak, when it comes to him and like his notoriety in the galaxy, and like what, nobody knows that this guy's around, nobody talks about him, he's never seen, he's never heard of, he's never brought up in discussions. So like they kind of got to keep him on the same wavelength, but I got to think he's got to die. He has to, because otherwise, if he lives on or whatever, why the hell wasn't he involved with any of the Skywalker stuff going on and everything else and the rebellion and this and that? Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, he does bump into some rebellion people in the second game, but like at some point, you think a Jedi that's starting to make waves out there in the universe, you don't think someone would notice at some point? You know, like Yoda be like, who the hell is this guy? You know what I mean? You know? Or whatever. Like, you just be like, where did this guy come from? You know what I mean? And it just is never brought up. It's never talked about. It's never addressed. And so, like, they're kind of painting themselves in a corner with him. And that's why they got to stop at 3, and he's got to die in 3.
Well, that's where it'd be great if he went to the dark side, because those of you who played Jedi Outcast 2 know you get to pick a male or female character, and midway through the game, you have a strict decision. You have a very straightforward decision to go to the dark side or to stay on the light side. And then you get the second half of the campaign with a red lightsaber and being evil if you want. So yeah, that was way back in 2002 or something. I think he might be onto something, Mag, because if you're going to end the trilogy with Cal and he doesn't persist in the Luke Skywalker universe, maybe he does turn dark. Maybe he becomes.
Yeah, but then
He's Baby Yoda.
Only two there are.
Yeah,
a master
true.
and an apprentice. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, Destin loved the Yoda impression.
It's walking around. You can have a couple of Sith here, and then Disney, has just made a mess of Star Wars. And so there's like, who's this guy now? Who's this guy? Who's this guy? And it's like, there's all these like, whatever. Anyway, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. It's already a muddled mess. I think they just need to stop at 3, have them killed off at the end, and just end the saga there and leave it alone. Because, like I said, it's going to get too ridiculous where it's getting to that point of unbelievability when it comes to the sinew of the entire narrative of this universal story, right? So it's, you know what I mean? And this guy's just out there doing stuff and nobody notices.
Now, the chat's saying, did we miss some Jedi news that broke? No, we were like just speculating off of, I think, a chat question that came in. But, it's a great series. P-Lump, thanks for the 5s. Really appreciate you, Colt. Had a blast out there at in L.A. Now you got to stop past the basement with Mag. We had a blast when he was on the show. Yes, thank you for the invite. I couldn't make it. I was working on my video for the next day. But, I need to stop by and do the show. I appreciate you. Joe Robert says, I really hope Microsoft gets this right. No, it's not Microsoft. I hope Microsoft stays out of it. Stay out. We don't want you in. We want you out. I want Xbox to get this right. P-Lump says, meet the cheater. Love you all day, Mag. Thanks for the 2. He also says,
P-Lump's a good guy. That show was hilarious that we did together. So
yeah, I know. I'm glad you did that, man. You really, Mag, you're a good dude.
Normally,
man.
I'm not available those times, but that day I'm like, nah, dude, I'll do this. Let's do this. So I did that, and then I took like a little break, and then I went live right after that on my show. By the time I was done, dude, I couldn't even speak. It was like I was like 2 shows back to back, and I'm just like, man, that was too much. But
I know. P-Lump says, I don't want them to take nothing from us. Leave Game Pass alone. Please, just need to describe to Game Pass is the ultimate deal. It's a steal. It can be a steal with all the games. And JJ Slayer was like, Colts are acting like we don't pay $15 for Game Pass. I know they're the people that are on premium. My idea is to make it more like premium. Get rid of the expensive ultimate. I don't want them to do this, but they need to come up with some sort of solution. Otherwise, they're going to make timed exclusives and they're going to put games on Xbox, and then people are just going to wait and not buy it knowing it'll come to PlayStation. And Xbox is going to be in the same situation they put themselves in 2024. Like, I've never been more wrong. I didn't want them to go multi-platform, but when they did, they ruined their brand. The damage they did was incalculable, how bad they hurt the brand, weakened it. It was a laughing stock. I told Xbox leadership directly, the things that you guys have done have made you the laughing stock of the games industry. Nobody takes you seriously. The fans don't know if they can even believe in you. So they need to come up with some way to have a pair of balls and say, this is what we're doing. We stand on principle. Our games are so good that you can only get them on our platform, on Windows PC and on Xbox console. Italian Gangster, thanks for the 1 month channel member, says, hey, Mag and Colt, appreciate you, bro, for being here. Green Pulse Wire, thank you for the 10. Thank you guys so much for your support. He says Game Pass at 30 million users, he's going to do the math here, at $15 average. I've done this math. Is at $5.4 billion. I think I did $12 a month. Game Pass Ultimate is $276 a year. four $70 games a year. Usually it's around 6 or 8 a year lately. Didn't Circana's numbers say most people don't buy more than 1 or 2 games a year? Yes, they did, Green Pulse Wire. Game Pass still makes sense. It does, but people are saying that it's a solution to a problem that never existed. Like, we never had a problem where we didn't have enough choice or games to play. And I think what Game Pass did, Mag, was it was a solution for Xbox to be relevant. Like, wow, there's no way this could work. And I was saying earlier, no one said, oh, how does Game Pass or GameFly even stay alive? They have every single game day one. The brand new games back then, it was like Infamous 2 and Uncharted 3 and all these games were day one. Like, how do they do it? For $20 a month, you can have, like 10 games could be shoveled into your house. The math doesn't make sense. No one said that back then, but when Xbox did it, it's like, what? Math ain't mathin'. How in the world are they doing this? They're going to go bankrupt. It doesn't make sense. What are your thoughts on that, Mag?
Well, the problem with the whole situation is that they did not hit the targets in terms of what they needed to get to in subscriber numbers, right? Because I mean, you saw the projections from the ABK trial where they talked about they had to be at like 65 or 70 million by now, or whatever it is, and then like that's what it was. So the thing is, at the end of it, if there were 60 million subscribers right now, there wouldn't be any conversation. There would be no conversation at all. The conversation would be over. It'd be like, yeah, it's working out or whatever. Clearly, it's not working. Right. And I mean, and when Asha says it herself, then the people who are evangelizing her should listen to everything she says, not part of what she says because you don't like what she said. Listen to all of it. She literally says that it's not working and it has to change. And that was just one of like 3 things that she mentioned, but one of them was Game Pass. And so like at that point, when you see numbers like 30 million, it went down into the 20s at one point when they raised it to $30. And that was, that's a strategy that a lot of people do, a lot of companies do. I mentioned that before when it comes to other subscription services. When it doesn't grow, start raising the price for the people who are already there, right? So it puts the number up higher and it's better for investors. Right? Because if investors look at the numbers, they see the numbers going up. Now, the thing is, seeing that they're literally at the same number that they have been for years now, and the games are getting more expensive, they're taking more time, the sales are not quite there. The ecosystem has dropped off. It's the lowest amount of consoles they've had since they started the entire Xbox. They have to look at all that and say, we don't have enough. But like I said, if they had 60 million, different conversation. There wouldn't be one. It'd be like, yeah, it's just there. And it's working and it's fine or whatever. We're not selling as much hardware. It doesn't matter. We got 60 million people over here. We're making the money. We're totally fine. Imagine that. So that's obviously part of the issue. I don't have all the dollars and cents and I don't have all the breakdown of what happened, but clearly that is part of it and it's not enough. And so therefore the strategy is going to change. Again, she literally said, in order for us to move forward, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. I mean, that is literally the definition of insanity. So at that point, you have to look at it and say, listen, we're not getting those numbers and they're not going any higher. Then we got to change the strategy. And that's what's going to happen. They've changed the strategy on almost everything else up to this point. Why wouldn't they touch that? That is definitely going to be in the crosshairs after what they already promised was going to be coming to Game Pass day one. Mind you, is that always going to be the case? They also said Senua was coming to Game Pass day one. They also said that A State of Decay 3 was coming to Game Pass day one. They still might, but unlikely because now they've been sold off to somebody else.
They're talking like they might.
Game Pass?
Yeah, I agree, Meg.
I don't know. They just said they would help with production. They would help finish production as a goodwill, not goodwill, as a selling point for someone to buy the studio.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're like, listen, we'll throw in a free radiator and 5-year guaranteed parts. They have paid for
a chunk of the development to publish those, but I'm with you, Mag.
It's also a tax write-off.
The time to make the decision about Game Pass changes is not now and not soon. I think they're going to wait a little while because it's way too hot. Way too hot. I want to talk about this Bethesda stuff because a whole bunch of stuff broke, and I sort of feel silly because King Fanman's in the chat, and we have reported in multiple videos about 90% of this stuff that Todd Howard. When this is going to date me, but in Robin Hood, the Disney thing where Prince John puts the knife against the back of Prince John, or what's his name?
Oh yeah,
Little John.
Yeah.
Puts the knife in the back of what's the name of the lion? I got a dirty thumb. Anyway, he goes, release my buddy. He goes, no, release my buddy. Release my buddy. Asha had this knife in the back of Todd and pulled him in front of the everyone made the joke, right? So she pushed him into saying, you need to talk about what you're doing. And Todd was probably like, I don't want to talk about the roadmap because every day I have to deal with people getting mad that we announced Elder Scrolls 6 in 2018. I just want to wait. And he's already said in interviews previously, like recently, my ideal thing is to show the game and reveal it and then put it out that year. But now he's been forced to say, we're in pre-production on Fallout 5. He was forced to say, yes, Obsidian Entertainment is working on a Fallout game. Yes, it is true. We are working on Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 remasters. He said, yes, it's true. Elder Scrolls 6 is in production and you're going to see it. at the end of 2027. No, he didn't say that, but King Fan Man and I believe there's no way Jason Schreier is right. Jason Schreier is always right, but I don't know. I feel like it's closer to the end of 2027 than the 2029 that most people will tell you, but we'll see what happens. Prince John, yeah. I don't know. Let's get into it because so I saw somebody was making fun of me to you and saying Colt's Fallout 4 addiction is about to go awry yet again. Yeah. That's why I'm playing Outer Worlds 2 because I need my Fallout thing. And yeah, Jason was wrong about the id layoffs. Jason was wrong about 2 being canceled. Jason Schreier. Did I say Ronald both times?
No, you didn't. You said Schreier.
Okay, thank you. Jason Schreier was wrong. Jason Schreier was wrong. Jason Schreier was wrong about Obsidian working on Fallout. And then 2 days later, he's like, Obsidian's working on Fallout, and Avowed 2 has not been canceled. So, yeah, he's not perfect, but he's saying, I'm hearing that Elder Scrolls 6 is at least 2 years away, and everyone thinks of that as 2030. No, that's not 2 years away. So, he's not perfect, but I would trust him more than I would trust most people. So, I don't even know where to start with this. King Fan Man, maybe you could direct us. I think the first thing we're going to see is... All right, let me start with this. I think the first thing we're going to see is Fallout 3 Remaster in about a year. I think that Obsidian's Fallout is way closer than anyone here expects. There were reports that Josh Sawyer and the Obsidian team were working on a Fallout type of game, and he had 4 years of development into that, and then the report is that all of that has been scrapped, and they're starting fresh on Fallout. Now, if I was Asha... and I was like, we want you to make a Fallout game, that only gives you like a 2-year head start. Because if Elder Scrolls 6 wraps in a couple of years, then they can work on Fallout for Bethesda Game Studios. So is Asha really going to sit there and go, we need a 2-year head start on Fallout when the TV show is raging right now and next year? I think the reality is that no one has reported is that everything that Josh Sawyer has been working on for 4 years is being translated into the next Fallout game. And guess what? I've got video proof of him in my last video that hardly anybody watched where he loves Creation Engine. You guys are so wrong about Creation Engine. You think Creation Engine's ugly. You think it's outdated. Creation Engine is amazing. And he says that you can do things in Creation Engine that no other game can do. And there are proprietary tools in that engine that no other game can do. That's why Bethesda games feel so immersive, so much choice, and so much flexibility and customization. There is a lot to look forward to. King Famine says, no, Obsidian was given the green light to do Fallout in 2023, but Todd put a stop to it, so he switched to a non-Fallout game that was like Fallout. So King Famine, I believe that he is taking everything in there and doing a file save as, and he's tweaking some things and starting to pull in assets. And I bet Bethesda Softworks is sending them over all kinds of stuff from Starfield. Like, look, here's all these pieces and bits and things. Take those models of this, wrenches, and all these things that sit in the world, start repurposing them, rebuilding those and changing those to make a Fallout game. Here's like, there's so many assets built in the engine. So does Josh Sawyer, Destin says. Yeah, Josh Sawyer loves Creation Engine. So, and then we got the confirmation that Obsidian Entertainment, who's been working in Unreal Engine 5, are going to make this Fallout game in Creation Engine 2.0 or nearly on the way to 3.0. Now, this is a lot of technical stuff, Mag, but I'll tell you this. People will tell you all the time, don't listen to them, all right? They don't know what they're talking about. They'll tell you that Unreal Engine 5 is better. The games look better. Unreal Engine 5 performs better. Unreal Engine 5 does not perform better than Creation Engine on a massive open world that you're going to get in Fallout or Elder Scrolls. I'll tell you that right now. And if you think that games can't look good on Creation Engine, you're not paying attention, because the way that games and characters look or assets or whatever, the lighting model, that's not the engine. The engine is all the little boxes that are tying all this game systems together and scripting and making everything work, and the mechanics and questing. That is all built in the game engine. Like, we're going to see, you guys are going to see next week. We've already seen Halo looks amazing in Unreal Engine 5. And like, well, it's not in Slipspace or it's not in the proprietary Halo engine. It's not going to feel like or look like Halo. That people, I played it at E3 or at FanFest. Sorry, I'm going on a rant.
Close enough. It was
people E3. And you played it. Like, did it feel like Halo? Did it look amazing? It was not in the Halo engine. Don't let people tell you that Unreal Engine can only do this or Creation Engine can't do that, or you can't make a game look like good. I'll give you another great example, and this will kind of sound insulting to Obsidian, but if you think Unreal Engine is going to make the next Fallout look amazing, look at Outer Worlds 2, right? Outer Worlds 2 has a look. It's in Unreal Engine. It doesn't look like the next blockbuster AAA game. It's the character models. Because Obsidian sits there and makes a character model, they have to make hundreds and hundreds of them. When you're talking about MetaHuman on Unreal Engine 5 with like Senua and all these games where they're using meta and they're using like caked in or built-in assets that make the trees for you, and it makes the characters and it scans your face and motion capture. Like, you can't look at Joel from The Last of Us Part 2 and say, why doesn't Outer Worlds 2 look like that? It's because the Obsidian developers picked an art style and made the character models face with half of the polygons that you'd see in a bigger game. It's not the engine, it's the developers. And so now you have to hope that Obsidian will make a gritty, cool-looking Fallout, and they can do it with the character creator tools in Creation Engine 2.0 that you see in Starfield. Imagine if you guys watched my video. Sorry, I'm still on this. Let me stand up on the soapbox. All of the named characters that are quest related in Starfield look really, really good. It's the pedestrians that look like nightmare fuel. And when they talk, it's no motion capture. It's all like programmed. Their mouth moves very close to the dialogue because they took the time to make that. All Obsidian has to do is take that model and build all of their characters in the Creation Engine model for their Fallout game. And they have all these assets and tools, and they can reduce loading screens because the current version of Creation Engine 2.0 with the new Starfield update has better loading screens. Like, they're able to circumvent some of the loading screens. So yeah, anyway, you guys really need to, I don't know a lot about game engines, but I know enough I'm tired of the armchair people going, it's not going to look good unless it's in Unreal Engine 5, or Unreal Engine 5 is trash. No game should be made. That's not exactly how it works. So like Desta says, so imagine Cyberpunk is what you're saying. Maybe. I mean, Cyberpunk doesn't look incredibly amazing with some of the characters. All the named characters looked amazing. But you look at some of the pedestrians and you're like, but I don't care. Yeah. I don't care. I'm okay with it. The game's awesome. So anyway. Sorry, Meg. Oh, no. That's fine. What do you expect from Fallout from Obsidian? Like, give us a run.
Obviously, I'm not going to talk about the tech stuff. That was all you, and you already explained everything. What I was going to talk about, something that was addressed by Asha herself once again, is the release cadences of these products, and said over and over again that there's going to be more collaboration with the studios in order to get these games out in a more timely fashion. So you're not going to be waiting 7 years in between Fallout 5 and Fallout 6 or whatever, or a New Vegas 2 and all that kind of jazz. You're not waiting once a decade, once a generation for all these games. Right. So I think that's what I'm looking at right now. And that's why I'm seeing, or at least I'm thinking I'm seeing, is a lot of these studios that are getting shaved down or whatever are all being folded into, in one camp or in another camp, ABK or Bethesda, and they're going to be utilized as support studios or just like almost like a super studio of sorts to work on this game. So we get it out in 3, not 5, or, 2, not 6, or whatever. And so you're going to get more and more and more. Now, the thing is that people could say, well, I don't want to play the same 5-6 games all, over and over again. I want more variety, this and that. But in the end, do you really? Because, the thing is that what really sells, the same 5 or 6 games from the same 5 or 6 franchises never mind over the years or over a generation. It's been going on for decades. The same games over and over. Yes, new games come in and they, there's always like a diamond in the rough, so to speak, or whatever. There's another game that comes in that like shocks everybody, like your Arc Raiders or your Helldivers 2 or whatever, like any kind of game like that. But once in a while, or an Expedition 33, just because of the, the sheer quality of it and all that kind of stuff, right? But then in the end, it's always the Call of Duties, the Forzas, the God of Wars, those kind of games, the Resident Evils, the Assassin's Creeds, all the games that people know. They know the buzzwords, like they got all the buzzwords, the names that those are the ones that always do incredibly well in the end. So by the time that you cycle through the 5 or 6 or 7 games, let's say, of like these different franchises, by the time you get back to the first one, everybody will be thirsting for that first game again. What they need to focus it on is, like I said, timely releases and quality. Those are the things that have to happen, and they have to be games that every last human being wants to play. Not some, not 20 million. It has to be more, you know what I mean? It has to be everybody wants to see what's going on at that party. If you're not at that party, everybody else needs to be looking over the fence going, what's going on over there? That's what I'm talking about. And you need to get that buzz going. And so you've got that that double situation there of timely releases and quality. Sorry.
How is Asha going to get these games out less than 6 or 5 years? What do you think?
What I was saying, by like utilizing id software, whatever's left of them, and then like saying, listen, you're working on this now. You're not
like
working
bringing
on
more than one studio in on one game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, see some of these teams get shaved down. They're going to get folded into one side or the other. There'll be a Bethesda side, an ABK side, and they're going to be like, yeah, you, and you. I know you guys were all working on your separate things. Guess what? You're all making Fallout 5.
Knock it off, Justin.
And you know what I mean?
Justin
that's
goes
what I'm
Claude,
seeing is going to happen.
No,
so,
I mean,
that's what I'm seeing is going to happen. And you can see it's kind of already happening. They're all going to be like, listen, you're helping them with this. There's 95 of you left in the studio. Yeah, you're now working on this. But then people brought up some other interesting things in the chat tonight. Like, they're like, well, what's happening with Indiana Jones now? No word on that. There was supposed to be a trilogy there. There was supposed to be a 3-game deal with Disney. Nobody even knows that that's going to happen anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, well, if you got everybody working on these big titles and trying to get them out the door before 2030 comes about, how the hell are you supposed to have somebody working on a big budget Indiana Jones game that's going to take a lot of time, money, and resources? So
I think there's going to be more check-ins.
You may lose.
Yeah,
I don't know. You may lose some of those. You may lose some of those franchises in the wake of what they're trying to do. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana Jones wasn't in their list of their. Maybe there won't be an Indiana Jones sequel anytime soon, but which is okay, I guess. But I think there's going to be more check-ins. Like Falcon Media says, more crunch, and I think more accountability. Like, you can't really quantify the changes that are going to happen with this new leadership, but if there was the old way of when Phil and Sarah were there, where they're like, "It's okay, take your time. You're the artist. We'll let you do your thing. I know you need another year. Here's more money." Versus now, where it's like, "No, this is the target, and you need to hit it." Back in 2009 or 2008. Fallout 3 came out, it's a big hit. Hey, Obsidian, will you make Fallout New Vegas? And they said, okay, yeah, we'd love to. And they said, here's the thing, you have an 18-month turnaround. Fallout New Vegas is a 100 to 300-hour game. And Obsidian took Creation Engine and all the tools and the assets, and they started making everything orange and brown and started making it, in the Southwest and changing all that. And they did a miracle. They worked their butts off and they barely got it done. And the game was half broken. But some of that might need to return. Like, I would imagine the conversation with Josh Sawyer, Tim Kaine, and John Gonzalez are there. You've got the literal fathers of Interplay and Black Isle that originally made the Fallout games that are working on this. And I'm sure the conversation was like, remember back in 2008 when you turned around New Vegas in 18 months? Yeah. We're going to need you to do that again, but do it in 3 or 4 years. Oh crap. But now games take 6 years. Not anymore. And anybody goes, I'll see it when I believe it. There's no way. Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be 2035. Fallout 4 is going to be 2040. If you think there's an era right now where Asha Sharma lets see people take over 5 years or 4 years to make a game, you're not listening because it's
that's
you're
what
right,
I'm saying.
Meg. It's over. They're not going to allow it. No, we're not taking 5 or 6 years. We're not letting you take 7 to 8 years like State of Decay. We did that. We lost our butts on it. That's not happening. Scope it down. We're shooting for 4 years, 3 or 4 years. And
what I'm
maybe
thinking is
Obsidian's
gonna
like,
happen.
hey, give us 2 more years and we have a Fallout game. Because if you can get out Fallout 3 Remaster next year, like Fallout 3 Remaster in March or February of next year, March, right? March 2027, Fallout 3 Remaster. You play that, and then they're like, Fallout New Vegas coming next year. The wait for the new Fallout from Obsidian is a year after you play Fallout New Vegas.
Well, that's the Capcom, modus operandi. When you look at, like, for example, the Resident Evil series, you get a new one in the series, you get a remake in there. And the remakes are stellar. So, like, let's also remember that it's not like they're making crappy remakes that'll be like, ugh, look at this trash, and then you're like waiting for no, the remakes are fantastic and just as good as the mainline games. So then you've got that. Then they drop another remake because they need 5 years for every Resident Evil title, right? Yeah, I mean that's sort of how they've been running the last 3 games, for example. 5 years, 5 years, and 5 years. And so then they look at, okay, well, we got 5 years until the next Resident Evil. Okay, well, we're dropping 2 remakes in between that. So again, it gives you the perception of time of that, oh, I'm just constantly playing new Resident Evils. And
the wait for you is very palpable. It's very easy and
right. And like, for example, like I just, I platinumed Requiem, right? And now I'm playing it on the Switch too. And when I'm out and about. I'm not at home playing it. I'm playing other games here at home. But when I'm out and about, I've got the Switch 2 with me and I'm playing Resident Evil, right? So I'm doing that. And then, I'm going to get Veronica. Then I'm going to get Resident Evil's 1 or 0, whichever one is next. I can't remember which one they're going to do. Maybe I might be Resident Evil 0 next. And then the new game. And then after that, they'll go back and do Resident Evil 1 again or whatever, right? And so, like, you do the same thing there with Fallout. Then it provides it. But the thing is, these remasters or remakes or whatever, they've got to be stellar. And they've got to be stellar in a way that keeps people engaged, talking about it, and keeping it on the forefront of positive feedback. If it's not positive feedback, you go, well, it was a lazy remaster or whatever, it wasn't really that big of a deal, then people are going to look at it and it's going to be a longer wait. The other thing is, just like you were saying, it's like, yeah, listen, and maybe that's, I could tell you this, I know you kind of like hinted at it, or not hinted at it, you sort of alluded to it about a couple of weeks ago about Todd Howard, and it'd be like, yeah, his time is pretty much at an end anyway.
Which is not true. I was wrong. That's not true.
No, I know, but I'm just, but what I'm getting at is that I could totally see if he wants to stay, he's going to have to conform to what they're doing. No longer the auteur who just does what he wants, when he wants, how he wants. She's going to be like, listen, here's the window. Get it done, or, we'll give you the package. We'll give you a golden parachute and you can take off, whatever. But I don't think that his ego will allow that to happen. Like, I don't think he's going to let an Elder Scrolls 6 drop without him, right? So he's going to have to conform. And then I think at that point, it'd be like, I can't get a Fallout in less than 5 years. And she goes, fine, Machine Games, guess what? You're now making Fallout. You know what I mean? And that's what's going to happen. I am telling you that's what's going to happen. Yeah. And people would be like, oh, that's crazy. No, it's not crazy. That's exactly what's going to happen. It'd be like, get the goddamn game out the door. And the only way for you to push it out the door, Machine Games, what are you working on? No, you're working on Fallout.
Yeah, I mean,
Coalition,
Meg's got a good
guys
point.
That you could spare. We're putting you on Vegas 2 to help with whatever. You know what I mean? I'm just like making up.
Yeah, names, Meg, you have a good point because you put something like Machine Games on this task, like this task that's going to be worked on for 6 months to a year. And then when Bethesda Game Studios comes in, they can take the brunt of the work and do all the heavy lifting. Like, there's so much pre-stuff that could be done by others, environmental creation, or even Elder Scrolls 6, like a big chunk of the game is done, right? King Fan Man, like, wasn't the report from Jason Schreier or Jez Corden that like they're playing internally playing a bunch of the game, so it's not far off. And he says that he feels like Elder Scrolls 6 could be out by the end of 2027 or by 2028 by the latest. And I kind of feel the same way. There are so many things that can happen, even if Bethesda has a small part of the team making character creation stuff for Obsidian and then start shipping it over. Like, this stuff can all happen. Yeah, 3-hour outside play test already for the Elder Scrolls 6, says King Fan Man. Yeah, and I'm going to say something speculatory, but speculatory, is that a word? Sounds gross. I'm going to say a speculative thing that Todd Howard was at the last, showcase thing that Mag and I were at, and he was there for no reason. So I really feel like I have no inside track on this, that maybe Fallout 3 Remaster was supposed to be ready, because Mag, you sparked this idea in my head just a moment ago. Maybe Fallout 3 Remaster was supposed to be out, but the Oblivion one was kind of rough, and people didn't like how it ran, and it was kind of undercooked, but it was great, and everybody loved it. Maybe they were like, we don't want to do that again with Oblivion, so it's not ready for this year. So let's move Fallout 3 Remaster, give it 6 months to make sure it runs really great with the Unreal Engine 5 thing. And
just look at what you're up against, Colt. Black Flag is out right now.
Yeah.
And that's a remake of a 13-year-old game or whatever. And you're looking at that game, that's your new bar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's one of your bars. Excuse me. Then Resident Evil remake number 2, 3, 4. With not Requiem, with Veronica coming up.
Halo Campaign Evolved is another bar to look at.
Oh, right. Sorry. And this week alone, I mean, this week by this Thursday, Campaign Evolved. These are the new bars. So when you look
Fallout
at that
4
bar,
Remaster was even broken.
Like, you can't release crap. It's got to be Black Flag level. It's got to be
Good job
Resident
on the pronunciation,
Evil
by the way.
4. What's that?
Good job on the pronunciation, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you. Of course. It's got to be Campaign Evolved level.
Yeah.
It's got. I played Campaign Evolved, but I like to actually sit down like at my place and play it. But I'm just saying it needs to be those levels. It cannot be any lower than that, because everybody else. And now the thing is, the customer, the gaming community, and everybody else, YouTubers, media, they're all going to measure it up against those games. And if you're not on the same level as those games, they're going to just call you trash.
If you make a remaster,
they've got to avoid that. They've got to avoid it at all costs.
If you make a remaster / remake, you're right. It has to be really good, look great, and not have problems. Like, that's just that should be a standard. And they even put out their Fallout 4 remaster, and it was broken. They can't do that again. And I'm sure they got yelled at.
Do that.
Yeah, they can't do it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, yelled at, or one of these, slap on the wrist, keep it going. But like, it's just, it has to be measured up against those now. And now people will not make the differentiation between a remaster and a remake, right? That's the other problem, because you can have, like, let's say a Fallout 3 remaster or a Fallout 3 remake. People won't care. They'll still measure it up against Black Flag, Halo, and Resident Evil remakes. Yep. That's what they're going to do. And you have to think not like you have to think like a customer, and a customer will do all of those things. And that's what's so important. And that's why they need to nail those, because those are the ones, those are the not bite-sized, but those are those are the meals between the meals that everybody's going to be feasting on before they get to the next one. But if you don't set them on fire with that and give them that thirst for Fallout 5, then you're going to, you know what I mean? That, like, you're not going to get the same
People
level
say,
of
I don't trust them.
Like,
they already say that.
Like, you gotta nail it. And so, like, I think, because Fallout 3 was supposed to be out already. Like, it was supposed to be out like a while ago.
McVogue in the chat says, what's 4XP? Is it like an energy drink? Yeah, it's a powder form that you put in water. You put it in a water bottle or your water cooler or like your thermos. And to me, it tastes like a Kool-Aid almost, but it's got half of the calories and half the sugar of a soda. And it's got vitamins, and it's got a little bit of caffeine. So it's really good for gamers. It's like an energy drink for gamers. If you're sitting around and you want to play a game for a while, be energized through a gaming session, you could also use it for pre-workout. It's really good. So blue raspberry, there's watermelon, and then there's white gummy. But check them out. They're our channel sponsor. They're awesome. We love them. And the stuff's delicious. I'm drinking blue raspberry right now. It's a blue raspberry that's very tart and sweet. So it's good stuff. Makes my mouth water just talking about it. But yeah, they're great. King Fanman in the chat says that Fallout 3 remasters in October of 2027, according to him, because they're doing a Fallout event in Washington, D.C. next year. I'm assuming he thinks, or he's saying that the Washington, D.C. event is in October of next year. I don't know. I mean, they could do that event and then say, here's the game and it's coming out at this time. But yeah, half sugar, bro. Yeah, it's good. And I am kind of on a very low sugar diet. Mag and I both are. I try to stay away. I don't drink I drink a lot of zero drinks. And I try to like stay up on protein and veggies and stuff like that. And 4XP is like right there in the wheelhouse. So they're awesome. You can buy it in tubs, or you can buy these joysticks where you just mix them in and shake it up. They're awesome. We appreciate them for sponsoring the show, and they've been with us for like a year. They're awesome. Yeah, and they are also working on a zero sugar set that they're working on, but they're a brand new company and they're awesome. So, of course, the Fallout New Vegas thing, like I could stay awake at night thinking about playing that game. It is so old and dusty. I was playing it earlier this year on my ROG Ally X, the original version, and to me, it still holds up because I just feel like it's such a warm hug. If a Red Wolf was still listening, which I don't think he is right now, he understands, like, when you go back to that comfy game that brings back those memories in 2010 when my daughter was just little, my son wasn't born yet. I think we were pregnant with our third kid, and I just love that game so much. And I think there is a huge paradigm shift where Osh is just saying, we're not doing this. We are bringing people in. We are collaborating together to get these games out. We're going to chop off the 7-year development. We're going to turn that into 3 to 4 years, and the fans are going to love it. They're going to love it because when you get Machine Games in there saying their thing, and Obsidian and Bethesda Game Studios and maybe id, and everyone's like, I mean, hey man, like this really worked because Fallout 4, don't argue with me with this if you guys played the game, but Fallout 4's gunplay is so good compared to the older Fallout games because they just had a quick chat with id and Machine Games. They're like, hey, what can we do to make our shooting feel better? And, they said, hey, do this and let us try it out. Yeah, tweak this. And Fallout 4's gunplay is pretty good for the game that it is, 2015. And those collaborations, because it is amazing. Machine Games is awesome. The Elder Scrolls team is awesome. I love Starfield. Like all these teams, just imagine bringing all these teams together to make a game and not waiting anymore 8 years for a game. It's so funny. I made that video like 2 weeks ago, the new Bethesda, and I had the Todd Howard on the thumbnail, and I talked about how they're gonna collaborate, they're gonna make all these games, and then a week later they announce it, and here we are. Yeah, I mean this is a good thing. This is, and when you were talking about Todd Howard retiring, like we thought he was, and he said he's not even that old. Like I think he's like 56, 58 years old. He doesn't need to go anywhere. I don't know. Romeo says Fallout 4 is such an ugly game to look at. Sometimes, but sometimes if you turn off your Pip-Boy light, the baked-in interior lighting is really, really cool. That game is so neat, and it's Creation Engine 1.0. Like, so much has changed since then. So I'm really, really, really super excited. So anyway, Mag, that's the show. Do you have any closing statements you want to say? Because I feel like
I think we pretty much
park tonight.
No, we pretty much said everything we were going to say tonight. Yeah, so we had a lot out there. The chat was awesome. We had a lot of people here tonight. It was great, and it was a lot of funny comments. Of course, as always, the chat are always a bunch of comedians. But thank you guys all for the support, man. It's been amazing.
Appreciate it. We got a funny one. Game Seeker, thanks so much for the Canadian 5. Says, Mag, will Mark Carney put out those PS5 fires that are burning in Ontario right now in Canada?
What? Commie Carney? He can't even put out the forest fires. He's going to put out PlayStation fires? It's impossible. It's never going to happen, Game Seeker. It's never going to happen. Yeah, he can't even put out the forest fires, let alone that. Yeah, it's.
I appreciate Game Seeker, man. He's been a really good friend. We've been talking and collaborating about all kinds of different ideas, and yeah, he's been a good inspiration. Chris R55, thank you so much for the $10 super. He says, in kind of a weird way, exclusives can also be good for games to actually get played. We already have so little time to play everything coming. Imagine if everything was everywhere. He does have a good point because Randall Thor 19 of the Xbox 2 podcast said that he feels personally that exclusives make games special. And I can kind of see that. Like, hey, this is special. This is a game that this platform is making. It's only available here. And when you put your game everywhere, it could be way more popular, but that special feeling of, hey, I picked this console. I can see that, but I don't even know how that translates when it comes to the game business. Brad Warfight, thank you for the channel membership of 12 months. He says, health of Xbox, shut down Game Pass or remove first-party games. As a consumer, I want it to live on. Maybe I make it like PS Plus. That's kind of like what I was saying. Like Xbox's big tentpole titles don't need to be there day and date. If you give people the option to wait, they can wait. And that's great. They still get a great value. But if they want to buy then you just boosted the sales of your games, and the studios can be happy. So Sir C. Julius, thanks for the 2, says, talk your tech shiz, Colt. Thank you. I kind of covered it in my video on Friday. Please check it out if you want to hear more about Creation Engine, and if you want to hear directly from Josh Sawyer about Creation Engine. It's an awesome engine. Don't let people mock it or slander it. It is the magic. It's just Bethesda just needs to tie down the loose ends and be more, like with Starfield, like the game really wasn't broken. So they need to get better at that. And I think they will, and collaboration will help. So anyway, Meg, thank you so much. I will be working on a video. Hopefully my mom is coming to stay with me this week. No, I'm just kidding. I will try and work on a video for this week before Gaming Weekly News. And even if that means I say, Mom, bye. Mom, go find someone to hang out with. Just kidding. I love your moms and your dads and your grandmas. Go call them today and tell them you love them. But I'll get to hang out with her this week. And I will be making hopefully a video about the roadmap and some stuff like that. But Mag, what do you have on the docket for the good people?
Yeah, I'll be dropping a video at some point tomorrow. Also, I got Magcast tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, if you want to come check that out, come check out the Mag Show, 8:30 p.m. on my channel tomorrow night. And Thursday and Friday will be Halo days. So Thursday I will be playing Halo, and top tier members of my channels will also get first dibs on when we do like a co-op or 4-player or whatever. We'll do all that kind of jazz. I will be live streaming them on the channel, and then I'll be doing the same thing for Friday Night Live as well. We'll be doing Halo as well. So this week is all dedicated towards Halo. So we're going to be doing a whole bunch of that. Yeah. And QMax, once again, happy birthday, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow night for Magcast. But
40
either way,
years old.
yeah, busy week.
Woo!
40 years old. I wish.
I remember those days.
Yeah. I remember way back then. Yeah. And now we're Pat Morita's age. Anyhow, everybody, thank you guys all so much for all the support. You guys are amazing, and great show tonight. And yeah, we'll see you guys all either tomorrow night, and if not, then we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Hit the like button on the way out. Appreciate you. And thanks to all the special guests that hung out in the chat. We appreciate you and your channels as well, like King Fan Man. Thanks, guys. We're out. Mag, keep it wrinkled, bro.